A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Well, Jane Ace finally opened her first checking account with the $100 Mr. Ace gave her. After a day of practicing writing checks, she's prepared to pay her household expenses by check, although she claims she gets too nervous to sign her name when the check is for more than $10. This episode takes place late afternoon at the Ace's bungalow, where we find Jane writing a check at her desk, with Laura the maid standing by. Listen.
Well, maybe you'd better hurry, because the man's been waiting at the back door now for almost 5 minutes.
I know, Laura, but don't rush me. I'm doing the best I can. How much did you say we owe him?
$3.15.
Yes, I got that part right. Paid to the order of Deluxe Tailor Shop, $3.15 100 stamps.
Yes, ma'am. I'd better take it to the back door and give it to him.
Well, just a minute, Laura. Don't grab.
But it's been 5 minutes, ma'am, since you started to write.
I know. Now, just hold your horse. I just want to make sure it's neat. All the others I gave checks today waited. The tailor can wait.
Well, shall I go tell him it'll only be a few minutes?
No, I'll be doing a jitney. I still don't know why they have the word no printed up in this right-hand corner.
Where, ma'am?
Right here. I showed you. It's on all of them. No. See it?
Oh, yes, ma'am. I wonder why.
I don't know. It just says no. N-O, period, no.
Well, I declare.
Well, I'll just do like I did on all the other checks I gave out today. I just scratched out no and wrote in yes.
Oh, yes, ma'am. That's nice.
Then I'll scratch out no and write in yes. There, now how's that?
Well, that's nice, ma'am. Shall I take it back to him now?
Now, wait, I have to sign it. It's not a check without my name on it. Jane Ace. There, see?
Yes, ma'am. Can I take it back to him now?
Yes, I guess so. Now, just a minute, I'll tear it out. Gee, I've written so many of these, I feel like I've written a book. I have almost written the whole book of them. Here you are, Laura.
Yes, ma'am. I'll take it back to the...
Oh, somebody's at the door, Laura. Never mind, I'll go. You go back and give him the check.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, one of these dishes. I never thought so much of...
How do you do, Mrs. Basil?
Oh, hello, Mr. Schultz. Come in.
Thank you.
You're just in time, Mr. Schultz.
I am?
Yes.
Just in time for what?
For a check. That's why I asked you to come over today. I want to give you a check for my butcher bill last week.
Oh, is that what it was? I was wondering why you...
Yes, I'm going to write a check from now on instead of paying you the money.
Oh, is that so? Thank you, Mrs. Basil.
You're welcome. The reason I had you come here is because I just started writing these checks this morning. I never wrote a check before, and I don't know if I could write one unless I was sitting here at my desk. So I thought if you didn't mind, you could come over.
Oh, that's all right, Mrs. Basil. I don't mind. No, indeed.
Well, sit down, Mr. Schultz. I'll write it for you now. It takes me a little time. I'm not used to writing.
Thank you, Mrs. Basil. Oh, here's my bill. You asked me to bring it with me.
Oh, yes, I have to know how much. Let me see it.
Yes, ma'am. $12.80.
$12.80. Now, just set right down over there, Mr. Schultz, and I'll write the... Oh, $12.
What's the matter, Mrs. Basil? Isn't that right?
What?
Don't you think we made a mistake, you think?
Oh, no, it's no mistake, but it's about the $12. You see, I can't write a check for more than $10.
You can't write a check for more than $10?
No, I'm sorry, but I can't.
Well, I'm sorry to hear you're financially embarrassed, Mrs. Basil.
Well, I am a little embarrassed about it, but I tried to write one today for more than $10, and I just couldn't.
You haven't got the money?
No money anymore, just checks.
Well, what good are checks without money, Mrs. Basil?
What good? Well, they're just the same as money. Everybody knows that.
But if you haven't got the money in the bank, Mrs. Basil, they are not the same as money.
Oh, I have got money in the bank.
You have got money in the bank?
Oh, yes.
But not more than $10.
Not more than $10? Who says so? I'll have you understand I put $100 in the bank yesterday. I've got plenty of money left, even if I did write all these checks. How can you say
But,
that?
Mrs. Basil, didn't you just tell me that you can't write a check for more than $10?
Yes, and I can't.
Why not?
Because it gets me nervous.
Nervous? What gets you nervous?
It gets me nervous if I write a check for more than $10.
I should so say. I should see Sue. I should say it would get you nervous to write a check for more than $10 if you can.
Well, that's the way I guess.
Then will you have more than $10?
Oh, I've got more than $10.
In the bank?
Of course I have. Look.
Then why can't you write me a check for $12.80?
I told you, Mr. Schultz, it gets me nervous. I tried it, and it makes me very nervous to write a check for more than $10.
Du lieber, look, Mrs. Aces, please.
And stop calling me Mrs. Aces. It's Ace.
Yes, look.
You talk like you got plurality. You ought to know my name after all this time I've been buying.
Mrs. Aces, please, you are making me very nervous.
I am? Well, now you got it. That's the way I get when I have to write a check for more than $10. It's just a nervous affection, and I can't help it. I get nervous because I remember how much money it is, and I can't write it.
Excuse me, please. Could you write a check for $1?
For $1? Oh, sure. I've written a lot of checks today for $1.
And could you write a check for $5?
Yes, I wrote checks for $5, and I wrote...
6 and 7 and 8 and 9?
Yes, it's only...
On $10, Mrs. Aces? Could you write a check for $10?
Yes, I can for $10, too. It's only when it gets over $10.
Good. Now we come to it. When you have to write for more than $10, you get nervous. That is it?
Yes, sir.
And my bill is $12.80. Is that right?
Yes, and I can't write a check for more than
But you can write a check for $10.
Yes, I told you I could.
And you could also write a check for $2.80.
Yes, but what the whole that got to do with $12.80?
I'll take 2 checks.
2?
Yes, 1 check for $10 and 1 check for $2.80, and that makes $12.80.
Oh, I see what you mean.
That's wonderful. Now, if you please, Mrs. Aces, I am a very busy man, and I've left my shop with only my wife there.
Oh, yes. Well, I'll write for you now. That's cute the way you figured it out. 1 for $10 and 1 for $2.80. It just comes out even, doesn't it? Well, just sit down, please, Mr. Schultz, and I'll write them out for you.
Mrs. Aces.
Mrs. Aces. Yes, Laura, what is it?
The paper boy is here.
Well, tell him to leave the paper. What's the matter with him?
He has to get paid today, ma'am.
Oh, yes, this is the end of his week, isn't it? Well, he'll have to wait, Laura. Tell him to come in and wait. I'm writing some checks for Mr. Schultz.
Yes, ma'am. Boys, come in here.
Paid to the order of Schultz.
Wait in here, boys. I'm a little hurry. Well, it won't take too long. Boys, come in here.
Paid to the order of Schultz.
Wait in here, boys. I'm in a little hurry. Well, it won't take too long.
All I want is my 14 cents. That's all I want.
Well, you will have to wait for Mrs. A.
Laura, please, not so much noise. I can't think of what I'm writing.
Well, I was only explaining to the boy, ma'am.
Oh, hello, boy. Sit down, please.
Mrs. Aces, if you please, I must get back to my...
Oh, yes. Well, I'll be through in just a minute. Sit down, boy. Oh, this is Mr. Schultz, boy. Mr. Schultz, this is the paper boy.
Hi, Schultz.
If you please, Mrs. Aces.
I am, and don't call me Aces. Here's 1 check for $10.
Thank you. Now, if you will please make out my other check, I will...
Oh, I forgot. Now, wait a minute. These checks cost me 10 cents apiece.
10 cents?
Yes, the bank charged me 10 cents a check.
So what?
So I'm losing 10 cents by writing an extra check.
Well, did I ask you to write 2 checks?
Yes, you did.
I did. You said you got nervous writing a check for more than $10.
Yes, and you said I could write 2 checks.
Because you owe me $12.80.
But I'll make this one for $2.70.
70 $2.80, Mrs. Aces.
It's Mrs. Ace.
And it's 80 cents.
But why should I pay the extra 10 cents that the bank charges me?
Is it my fault if the bank charges you 10 cents a check?
Well, no, but they do, and somebody has to pay for it.
Well, if that's somebody me,
Well, who is it then?
not me.
It's your bill.
And my bill is $12.80 if you write 50 checks.
Oh, no, Mr. Schultz.
Mrs. Aces?
My name is Ace.
Hey, you kid, I'm in a hurry. I want my 14 cents.
Just a minute, little boy. Mr. Schultz is ahead of you.
Well, how long is it going to take them to get them straightened out?
I'll give you $2.70 more, Mr. Schultz.
Mrs. Aces, please.
I'll just back out this no and write in yes.
I never heard of 10 cents a check.
Well, I didn't either, but this bank charges 10 cents a check.
10 cents a check.
10 cents check. Da-da-da.
Boy, please, I'm writing a check.
Mrs. Aces, I tell you, it is $12.80.
James Aces. There. I signed my name. It's too late. There's your check.
You still owe me 10 cents.
Well, I hate to get sarcastic, Mr. Schultz, but oh, yeah?
We will see about that. Good day, Mrs. Aces.
I told you my name is Ace.
Just wait, Mrs. Aces, till you come to my shop. 10 cents a check.
Go on, Schultzy.
I never had so much trouble in my life since I started this check writing today. Every check I wrote, something happened.
I come to collect for the evening paper. 14 cents.
Oh, yes, 14 cents. Well, I won't have any trouble writing that. What's your name, boy?
Kenneth. But looky, I got a lot more houses to collect from, and then go down and pick up my route. So if you'll just give me 14 cents,
Kenneth what, little boy?
Looky, I haven't got time to play games.
Kenneth what?
Kenneth O'Day.
O'Day?
But looky, please.
Why, little boy, I've got to write this check, and I don't want to make any mistakes. Bad enough to have to pay 10 cents for a 14-cent check. Oh, I forgot to cross this no out and write in yes. I wonder why they put no on all these checks.
How about my 14 cents?
I'm writing the check now. 14 and no cents.
I ain't gonna take no bum check.
Kenneth, never say bum.
I want my 14 cents. I don't want no check.
Well, this check is just the same as 14 cents.
I won't take your check.
Why not?
My business is cash. How do I know your check's any good?
Well, you've got a lot of cheek talking like that. This check is as good as the day it was born.
It's just a piece of paper to me.
Paper?
Yeah, paper. That's all it is.
Oh, yes? Well, why do you leave here every night? Paper?
Oh, yes? Well, you can read my paper.
Well, you can read this paper, and it's money besides.
Well, we pity a certain bank teller when Jane's many checks start coming through. We'll learn about that when next we meet the Easy Ace.
This is Walter O'Keefe, inviting you to listen in on the Nightline. Tonight, live the incredible life of ages yet to come, in a time that might be 1,000,000 years from now, on X-1. Now, an incredible story of the world beyond.
Countdown for blast off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in 1,000,000, could be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents X-1. Tonight's story, Skulking Permit, by Robert Sheckley. But first, hear this. Pick up some Pabst Blue Ribbon. Take it home, chill it, then put it to this test. Have a glass of Pabst with your meals for the next several days. You'll find Pabst Blue Ribbon makes most everything taste better, that it adds zest and sparkle to any meal. Try it. The bright, modern taste of Pabst Blue Ribbon is good any time and wonderful with meals. Pabst is the name. Made by Pabst Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Now, X-1 and Skulking Permit by Robert Sheckley.
August 16th, year 2204. To Central Colonial Administrative Authority, Alpha Centauri Sector. From Colonial Contact Inspector 37. Subject, Lost Colony on Planet New Delaware. First contact established in 200 years. And proceeding on overdrive for personal investigation.
Golly, Painter, I thought I told you to consult
take it easy,
me.
Mayor. I put the sign up. No aliens allowed within city limits. What's an alien?
Never mind. Look at the church. You painted it wrong.
Now, look, here, I painted that church with a nice bright red. Now, what's wrong with that?
I looked it up. It's a little red schoolhouse, not church house. Churches are supposed to be white.
Oh, I got along fine enough in New Delaware for 200 years without either of them.
Yes, I know, but we need them now, and we haven't got much time.
Hey, when do I get a police chief badge? I read that the police chief always gets a badge.
Make yourself one. Now, go on.
All right, then.
Oh, it sure is hot. I don't know why the inspector couldn't have come in the wintertime. Oh, Tom Fisher.
Yeah?
Come here, Tom. I've got a job for you.
Well, now, look, Mayor, I'm on vacation. The fish won't be back in these waters.
No vacation, not now. The inspectors do any day. Tom, how would you like to be a criminal?
Well, I don't know. What's a criminal?
Well, come over to my house and I'll explain. I've got to appoint a criminal. And it looks to me like you're it.
New Delaware. New Delaware. Do you hear me, New Delaware? Come in immediately.
Yes. We hear you.
This is Colonial Inspector 37. You of New Delaware are still a colony of Earth and subject to our laws. Do you acknowledge that status?
Oh, yes. Yes, we called a town meeting last night and we talked it all over. We're still loyal to Earth.
Excellent. That saves us the trouble of sending an expeditionary force to reconquer you for Imperial Earth.
Imperial? Oh, that's funny. All the books talk about Earth as a united democracy.
A lot can change in 200 years.
You realize, of course, there is room for only one intelligent species in the universe, man. All others must be suppressed, wiped out. We can tolerate no aliens. I'm sure you understand, General.
I'm not a general. I'm a mayor.
You're in charge, aren't you?
Yes.
Then you're a general. Be sure you're running an Earth colony, General, with no radical departures from the norm, such as free will, free love, free elections, or anything else on the prescribed list. Get your colony in order, General.
Yeah. You see how it is, Tom? Now, about your job, Tom, I'm appointing you town criminal.
Well, I don't see why there has to be a criminal.
All the books say so. The criminal is as important as the postman or the police chief. He works against society. If you don't have people working against society, how can you have people working for it?
I don't want to do it.
Oh, now be reasonable, Tom. When this inspector comes, how can I hold my head up and tell him we don't have any crime? Don't you see that? Right there, the whole thing falls through. He'll see that we're not truly Earth-like. We're faking it. We're aliens. And you heard what he said about being rough on aliens.
Well, yeah. But why me? Now, I'm supposed to have vacation now that the fishing season's over.
Never mind. You're our criminal. Here, I've got this paper all made out for you just to make it legal.
Skulking permit.
Know all men with these presents that Tom Fisher is a duly authorized thief and murderer. He is hereby required to skulk in dismal alleys, haunt places of low repute, and break the law.
What's law?
Well, I'll let you know as fast as I make them up. All Earth colonies have law.
But what do we do?
Well, you steal and kill. Look, I'll give you a couple of books on it, Tom. Steal as much as you like. One murder should be enough. Don't overdo it.
Well, that doesn't sound sensible.
Well, you can work up to it. Why don't you start off easy-like by haunting a place of low repute?
You're listening to Skulking Permit, tonight's attraction on X-1. Careful planning and sensible driving add up to an enjoyable vacation trip. Here are a few tips from the National Safety Council that should help make your trip a pleasure instead of a tense, nerve-wracking time. Before you leave, have the car given a thorough checkup to be sure it will always respond properly to your careful control. Check the emergency equipment you'll need, such as a first aid kit, keys, permits, identification, flashlight, tire-changing equipment, and your unexpired driver's license. Plan your trip for frequent rest stops with a good night's sleep each night. And then, on your trip, pay attention to the job at hand and don't daydream. Stop off the road to see the sights or read the map. Be prepared for winding and straight roads, level and hilly roads, and changing traffic patterns between urban and rural areas. Obey all speed limits, traffic signs, and signals, and keep your distance behind the driver ahead. This vacation is what you've been waiting for all year. Enjoy it with sensible driving. Now, back to Skulking Permit on X X-1.
Miss Filling.
Hey, how come you ain't out thieving now, Tom?
Well, I'm planning. My permit says I have to haunt places of low repute, and that's why I'm here.
Oh, this ain't no place of low repute.
Well, you serve the worst meals in town.
Oh, I know. My wife can't cook, but there's a friendly atmosphere here. Folks like it.
Tom, now, just a minute there.
Oh, hi, Billy. What do you have?
I'm on official police business. Now, Tom, what are you doing with that beer?
Drinking it.
Tom, I think you were planning on stealing it. You're a suspicious character. I think I'd better lock you up for further questioning.
No, Billy, what are you doing?
I'm doing my duty, Mayor. Tom here is looking mighty suspicious. The book says...
I know what the book says. I gave you the book. You can't go arresting Tom, not yet.
Huh?
Acting suspiciously isn't a crime.
All right. But I was just trying to do my job. I'll still get you, Tom. Remember, crime does not pay.
Crime doesn't... Hey, that's a real slick way of putting it, isn't it?
I thought it was kind of catchy. I read it in the book.
Morning, Marv. How's the schoolhouse coming?
Oh, hi, Tom. Fair. Would have come along better if I'd had my saw.
Your saw?
Yes, I left it leaning against my door last night. Wasn't there this morning, Tom.
Oh, yeah, your saw. Well, you know how it is, Marv. I had to practice some skulking last night.
Oh, yeah, sure. Say, Tom, do you suppose I could use the saw for a while, just for an hour or two?
Well, I don't know. It's legally stolen, you know.
Well, I'd give it back. I wouldn't keep anything that was legally stolen.
Well, it's in the house with the rest of the loot.
Okay, I'll go borrow it then.
Tom, I've been looking for you.
Oh, morning, Mayor.
Did you steal my bronze plaque?
Oh, I certainly did.
Oh, well, I was just wondering. Well, you got your murder planned? Time is running short. Inspector may land any hour now, so let's get that killing over with.
Oh, well, then, I guess I'll kill George Waterman.
Why?
Why? Why not?
What's your motive?
Well, I thought you just wanted a murder. Who said anything about a motive?
We can't have a fake murder. On Earth, every murderer has a motive.
Oh, well, I don't like the way George walks. Never did, and he's noisy sometimes.
No, that might be good enough for a crime of passion, but you're a legal criminal, Tom. You're ruthless and cold-blooded and cunning. You can't kill someone just because you don't like the way he walks. That's silly.
But I'm supposed to make somebody cease to exist. I mean, like, take Marv Carpenter. Here he is today working on the schoolhouse. Big fella. Now, if I kill him, well, he wouldn't work anymore. Now, I've been trying to imagine it. Marv Carpenter lying on the ground with his eyes glaring open and his mouth twisted and never going to hold a piece of wood in his hands again or never sing a song or have a beer or anything. It just kind of makes me sick. I mean, I can go on with the thieving, but murder...
Yes, I know, but it's your job, Tom. It's for the good of the village.
Murder? Oh, I better go have another beer. Hey, what's that?
That must be the inspector's ship landing. Come on, let's go see.
Perimeter guard advance. Sidearms to be worn at all times. And guards at battle stations.
Welcome to New Delaware.
Thank you, General. I'm the inspector. This is Mr. Grant, my political advisor.
Is this the capital of the colony?
Well, I'm afraid there's only one village on the whole of New Delaware.
Only one? Grant, I told you when we surveyed that planet we were wasting our time.
Patience. We're ready, General. Let's inspect your village.
We've got it all. Jail, post office, church, little red schoolhouse. Oh, we're very normal. Very earthly.
Grant, this place is worthless. No smelting, no heavy industry, no atomics, no taxation, Oh, they don't have anything. They'll be downgraded at the next colonial board. Why, this place is a utopia. It's subversive. We ought to blow it right out of the sky.
Now, don't be despondent, Inspector. New Delaware has a very important commodity for us.
What? You saw them, hulking peasants, nothing but farmers.
Yes, strong, healthy farmers. Good cannon fodder.
But... Oh.
Let me take over. General.
Yes, sir?
How many able young men are there in the village between the ages of 15 and 60?
Why?
You see, General, Imperial Earth is engaged in a war. The colonies in Ding 4 are revolting against the authority of Mother Earth.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
We need good, healthy fighting men. Our reserves are depleted.
We wish to give all loyal colonists a chance to fight for Mother Earth.
We're sure you won't refuse. Most colonies welcome a little conscription. Cleanses the blood. Reduces crime.
Crime? Oh, I thought that would come up. We've taken care of that. I appointed...
You see, Grant? 60, 70, perhaps 100 recruits. Not such a waste of time coming here after all.
Hey, wait a minute, Mayor.
Oh, hello, Tom. What are you doing?
Well, you said there had to be a murder, so
No, wait just a minute. Look, I didn't mean me. It can't be me. You haven't any motive.
Well, I've been pretty sore about you appointing me town criminal.
Look, it was the mayor who appointed you, wasn't it?
Well, sure.
Well, then, look, I'm not the mayor anymore. I'm a general. Look, you see, stars, gold braid.
Well, what's that got to do with it?
Well, you missed the ceremony this afternoon, Tom. The inspector said I had to wear a general's uniform. It was a very friendly ceremony. All the Earthmen were winking at me and each other.
Oh, congratulations. But you were the mayor when you appointed me criminal, so my motive still holds.
Yes, but killing a general isn't murder. It's mutiny.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right, Tom. It's just that I've read up on it and you haven't. Well, I better get back. The inspector wants a lot of the men he can draft.
Are you sure this murder is necessary?
Oh, yes. Yes, absolutely. Just not me.
No luck, huh, Tom?
I just can't do it. Ed, I can't kill anybody in the village. I grew up with them. I've worked with them. I've drank root beer with them. I don't have any motive for killing any of them.
Well, Tom, you have to commit a murder. You don't want to let the village down.
Wait a minute. I got an idea. Ed, suppose I kill the inspector.
What's your motive?
Oh, it would be a very terrible crime. I'd be killing for glory, for fame, for notoriety, and it'll show Earth how earthy New Delaware really is. Well, they'll say crime is so bad here that a criminal actually killed their inspector on the very first day.
Yeah. How are you going to do it?
Well, one of those soldiers got drunk on a bottle of your Keebler juice, and I stole his gun. Well, I better get going. I'll wait for him on the path between the mayor's house and the ship.
Yeah. Good luck, Tom.
Yeah, thanks.
Cut, 2, 3, 4. Cut, 2, 3, 4. Finger line there. What a sloppy crew, all their feet.
Still, it's a nice night's work. With those landing parties dying like flies, we can use every new man we can get.
Shh. Don't say that.
What? Are you afraid the mayor will hear me? Don't be ridiculous. It's a completely passive population, sheep-like, obedient. But wait till those sergeants get hold of them at the base. They'll whip them into first-class fighting men in no time.
Halt! Stand and deliver!
Why, it's Tom.
Hands up, Inspector. I got you covered. Now, the rest of you, drop your guns and move out of the way.
What? Now, see here.
Now, go on. Now, drop those guns.
What's the meaning of this?
And who are you?
Tom Fisher. I'm the town criminal. I'm going to kill the inspector. Now, please move out of the way.
Criminal? So that's what the mayor was prattling about.
Now, I know we haven't had any murders in 200 years, but I'm changing that now. Move out of the way.
Well, I suppose I'd better get out of the line of fire, eh?
Now, wait a minute. Wait.
Now, don't move. Now, I know just how to do it. I've been thinking about it. I'll push this button and you'll die. Now, you'll fall down on the path, and your eyes will be open and your mouth twisted, and no air going in and out of your lungs, and no beat to your heart. And I can't do it. Here's your gun. Take it. I don't want it.
Quick after him. Sergeant, have the entire ship's company turned out. General, I want all your people out looking for him. Shoot on sight. Kill him instantly.
Oh, we couldn't do that. Although we appreciate the compliment.
What that means?
He's a criminal, yes. That's what I'm trying to explain. I appointed him. We had to have one.
You what? You mean you had no criminal?
Well, No, I'm afraid not. I'm terribly ashamed. You see, we knew how uncivilized we were, and that's why we did it. I'm dreadfully embarrassed that Tom couldn't handle the job.
Why did you give the assignment to that particular man?
Well, I figured if anyone could kill, Tom could. He's a fisherman, you know. It's pretty gory work.
And he wasn't able to kill the inspector?
Well, we just haven't had to kill anything for 200 years except fish. The only animals on New Delaware are small grass eaters, and they're not good to eat, so we never kill any of them.
And the rest of you would be equally unable to kill?
We wouldn't even get as far as Tom did.
I want that man found and...
Forget about it, Inspector.
What?
We'd better get away from here. You want men in our army who can't kill? Think of it. The morale problem. The possibility of infection. One man in a key position endangering a key ship, or maybe a whole fleet, because he can't kill. It isn't worth the risk, Inspector.
Yes, sir. I see what you mean.
Order your troops to get back to the ship. We'll take off at once.
Tom, you can come out now. Tom, they're gone.
He's hiding around here somewhere, Mayor.
Yeah. Tom? Oh, Tom.
Here I am. I'm sorry I bungled it. I guess I won't be needing my skulking permit anymore.
No, I guess not. Well, we did our best.
I had the chance, and then I let you all down.
Oh, Tom, it's not your fault. Now, look how long it took Earth to get civilized. Thousands of years, and we were trying to do it in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, we better get back to the village. Looks like rain.
Yep. Soon I'll start fishing again. Say.
What is it, Tom?
I think I could have done it if I'd only had the sense to think of the inspector as a fish. Well, it's too late now. I guess I'll let the village down.
Fred Collins again, and I'll have a word for you on tonight's X-1 in a moment.
This is Bob Haynes speaking to you from somewhere in the Caribbean. I am aboard a UDT personnel landing craft. That's the Underwater Demolitions Team. We are right now on our way out to rendezvous with United States submarine Sea Lion.
Monitor took you there.
Some men go over Niagara Falls in a barrel. Some people sit on top of flagpoles. But we have a man by the name of Rajah Phillips from India who is buried alive right in the center of a furniture store here in Owensboro, Kentucky.
And Monitor took you there. Big events, little events, offbeat events, comedy, music, news, and sports. They're all part of the top variety of entertainment Monitor brings you all weekend long. This is Frank Blair inviting you to join us on Monitor every weekend and Friday nights, too, on most of these NBC stations.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, which this month features Blaze of Glory by Robert Silverberg. Galaxy Magazine on your newsstand today. Tonight, X-1 has brought you Skulking Permit, a story from the pages of Galaxy written by Robert Sheckley and adapted for radio by Ernest Kenoy. Featured in our cast were Richard Hamilton, Wendell Holmes, Dean Almquist, Mandel Kramer, Ted Osborne, Santos Ortega, and Bob Hastings. This is Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Daniel Sutter and is an NBC Radio Network production.
There's excitement in the air at night, and Nightline brings it to you. Hear Nightline with Walter O'Keefe, next on most of these NBC stations.
This is Walter O'Keefe, inviting you to listen in on the Nightline. Tonight, live the incredible life of ages yet to come, in a time that might be 1,000,000 years from now, on X-1. Now, an incredible story of the world beyond.
Countdown for blast off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million, could be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents
X minus 1.
Tonight, Early Model by Robert Sheckley. But first, hear this.
When you swing and sway to a Latin beat, life is lovely, life is sweet.
You make it Pabst, 'cause Pabst makes it perfect.
Yes, Pabst makes it perfect. Just as we always have ever since 1844. So next time, you make it Pabst, because Pabst makes it perfect. America's Blue Ribbon beer from the Pabst Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Yes, Pabst makes it perfect.
Now, X minus 1, and the Robert Sheckley story, Early Model.
Of course, Professor Sliggett claimed the trouble was that the Protec was an early model, but then he invented it. He sprung the thing on me just before I took off for my scouting contact mission to Tells 4 in the Betelgeuse sector.
Here, Bentley, put this on.
Well, what is it?
A new model. It's called a Protec.
What's it for?
Now, you'll wear it on your mission.
Now, look, Sliggett, I already have to carry enough equipment to give varicose veins to an elephant. Linguicine, that's 22 pounds. I can't do without it, or I can't translate native languages. Concentrated food, water, subspace radio, weapons, medical kit. Now, how much does this thing weigh?
72 pounds. Try it on.
Look, I won't promise
it
to
fits right on your back. Here, I'll snap the harness. Fits fine.
It digs into my back. There's a sharp thing back there.
That's the sensory link. It has to be at that angle.
But my back...
We're working on the problem. Now, don't worry.
What does it do?
Protec is a perfect protection for initial planet contact. There are pseudoprotein computer banks and an Anderson-Woodward force field projector. Wherever the Protec senses danger... look, I'll show you. I take this slide rule and swing at you.
Hey, where did everybody go? Who turned out the lights? Hey, Sliggett, where am I? Sliggett! Get me out of here, Sliggett! What happened?
The Protec went on.
Oh.
It encased you in the AW force field. I released by master control. You can turn it off with this button on your chest. Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, but 73 pounds.
Well, this is an early model. I've used every weight-saving device possible, but unfortunately, early models are always a little bulky.
All right. How do I take it off?
I'm not going to tell you.
Huh?
We're not going to take chances of having valuable equipment discarded just because it might be a little uncomfortable. Bentley, you're going to an alien planet. It's necessary that you be protected at all times.
Look, I've got enough sense to figure out when to wear this thing.
Yeah. Suppose you find the natives seemingly friendly. You'd want to take off this heavy, uncomfortable Protec. But suppose you misjudge their attitude.
Sliggett, I can take care of myself.
That's what Atwood said before he left for Atopus 3. We never heard from him. Bentley, can you turn a knife thrust from the rear? Have you got eyes in the back of your head? Protec has. We're not going to risk $8 million worth of equipment just because you might be uncomfortable.
Suppose it blows a fuse or pops a wire.
We've got triple everything, with a power supply good for a century. Bentley, after this field test, the Protec will be standard equipment for all explorers.
Well, all right. I'll try to get used to it. But it feels like I'm carrying a 72-pound monkey on my back. I carried it for 6 weeks on the way to Tells 4. And the added weight loused up my coordination in landing, so I burned out about 7 acres with backlash from the braking tubes. The radio receiver buried in my ear itched, and my back was rubbed raw from the carrying straps. I piled on my linguicine and the other equipment and staggered out. My instructions were to fraternize with the Aborigines and establish a trade pact if possible. I found 2 of them standing outside the tail fins when the hull had cooled enough to get out. They were bipeds, orange-skinned with thick, short tails, and they were armed with stone axes and clubs. I stepped out of the lock, and they started talking fast. I realized I hadn't turned on my linguicine, so I tuned it in and threw the switch.
I dare say it's a manifestation of some supernatural quality, eh, Wassel, old chap?
Without a doubt, old man.
You know how the linguisine works, instantaneous semantic translation. Well, mine was made by the Gorley Laboratories just outside London, and naturally they had the word tapes recorded by BBC announcers. It takes a little getting used to when you hear some walking vegetable from the Canopus system talking like the Home Service. Well, the Tellians were pretty excited by my arrival.
How strange. Unbelievable.
Most improper, you know.
I suppose it can talk.
I come as a friend. A friend.
Well?
It does talk. Dreadful accent. But what can you expect, eh?
Foreigners, you know.
You know, old boy, I definitely sense an evil.
Oh, now, come. We're both ghost doctors. Surely if there was an evil, we'd both sense it.
Well, let's ask, shall we?
Let's.
I say, are you evil? Me?
Why, yes. You see, we're the village ghost doctors. It's our job to ferret out evil, so to speak.
It's our cup of fugle, so to speak.
Are you evil?
Oh, no. No.
He says he's not evil.
Well, how do you know?
If he doesn't, who does?
My dear fellow, appearances aren't everything. Surely you recall the legend of Hatape, the gods tempted the chief...
Please, my dear chap, I'm as well aware of religious precedent as you are.
The two of them stood there, lashing their orange tails, accusing each other of heresy. The linguisine finally couldn't handle the theological discussion and cut out before Overload blew a circuit. Eventually, they must have decided something, because the short one carrying the stone axe turned to me.
Stranger, we've decided not to kill you.
Not yet, anyway. We'll go to the village and purify ourselves, then we'll initiate you into the club.
The club? The Society of Ghost Doctors. You see, no evil thing can become a ghost doctor. It just isn't done, you know.
Oh, we'll find out the truth that way. Clever. Eh? I'm deeply grateful.
But if you're evil, we'll destroy you. Have to. Our job, you know.
You are listening to Early Model, tonight's attraction on X-1. For the big things in your life, be ready with United States savings bonds. That's the new savings bond with the higher interest rate. The improved Series E savings bonds that now mature faster to pay you back extra dollars faster. Yes, when you think of saving, think of savings bonds. They offer you the safe, easy way to save regularly. Safe because each bond is backed by the United States government itself. Easy because you can buy bonds either where you bank or through the payroll savings plan where you work. And you get back $4 at maturity for every $3 invested, so you earn extra dollars. But the big news is that the maturity period is shortened to only 8 years and 11 months. So join the bond wagon. Start a family savings program. Invest in improved Series E bonds today and hold the bonds you already own. Now, back to X-1 and tonight's story, Early Model.
Sliggett. Calling Professor Sliggett at home base. Come in.
Go ahead, Bentley. Report.
I'm in the village now. They're about to initiate me as some kind of priest. All I have to do is pass some kind of test. And, by the way, if I don't pass, they're going to kill me.
That's good.
What's funny?
They can't hurt a hair on your head, not with Protec on the job.
They seem awfully confident that they can.
Primitive cultures always overestimate the power of their weapons. Don't worry. Just let Protec take care of you.
Go ahead, old boy. It's purified ceremonial food.
But I can't. Why not? We purified with 7 sprinklings of strychnine, according to ritual. It's a taboo. I'm only allowed to eat my own supplies. A tribal taboo, you know.
How primitive.
Positively pagan.
Well, shall we get on with it? We'll dispense with the written exam and get right down to the oral.
Tell me, what do you think of evil? Well, it isn't good.
Ah.
Well put.
Well, in that case, you have no objection to receiving the sacred and very holy spear that Cran Clou brought down from the abode of the small gods, the brandishing of which brings good on a man?
Oh, I would be honored to receive it.
Very well, then. The ceremony can commence.
O stranger from the skies, accept from us this spear of sanctity. Evil cannot abide the presence of this spear. Take then our blessings with it. Here, here, O stranger, take the spear!
Confounded Protect. Where's that release button? Sliggert, come in. Oh, he's probably out to lunch. Gotta get that force field off. Listen, I'm terribly sorry, but I...
Purification, Dodge. We are in the presence of evil spirits.
Oh, no, I can explain.
You cannot accept the sacred spear.
Well, you see, I've got this protective device. It's sort of like a shield, you know? It doesn't like spears. It doesn't trust them. You couldn't give me a sacred gourd?
No. Who ever heard of a sacred gourd?
Poppycock. Look, you'll just have to take my word for it. I'm not evil. Really. Scout's honor.
Our course is clear.
Transparent.
We won't kill you at once. We'll pray for you through the night. And perhaps in the morning, things will turn out better. If not...
Sorry, old boy, but you understand our position. We'll just have to kill you. Can't be helped. Regulations, you know.
Yes, Bentley, I understand. Well, primitive people are notoriously treacherous. They might have stabbed you with the spear.
Look, Sliggett, I'm positive there was no such intent. After all, you have to start trusting people sometime.
Not with $1 billion worth of equipment in your charge.
Don't you understand? The Protect wouldn't let me accept their sacred spear. That means I might be evil. Now, what if I can't pass the initiation test tomorrow? Look, tell me how to take it off.
Oh, no. We want you back alive. There's no way they can hurt you through the Protect field. Now, try to have a little faith.
The campfires burned all night, and I could hear the chants of the ghost doctors. At least 3 or 4 times during that night, the Protect force field howled on and off, but I was too tired to care. In the morning, the 2 Tellians came to see me and stood switching their fat orange tails politely, while the linguicine translated for me.
There were great sounds from your hut last night, sounds of torment, as if you were wrestling with the devil, so to speak.
I'm a restless sleeper.
Yes, of course.
Quite.
By the way, old thing, did you pray for purification last night?
Oh, yes, I did.
And was your prayer granted?
Yes, sure, certainly. Not a bit of evil around me.
Well, if you can't be initiated, we'll have to destroy you.
We made that clear, didn't we?
Oh, yes, quite clear. The initiation ritual took the whole day. It was sort of a cross between a Shriners' convention and a performance of Das Rheingold at the Met. Luckily, no one tried to hand me a ceremonial spear or point a club in my direction, so the Protect kept its grimy force field to itself. Finally, around supper time, the Tellians pounded the last tail on the ground, and everyone stopped and paid close attention.
Oh, brothers, this alien has come across the vast emptiness to be our brother. With this initiation, we purge him of evil and make him one of us. Brother, now you are a ghost doctor with all the privileges and perquisites pertaining thereto. And in friendship, I extend to you the claw of friendship.
Well, thanks.
We have only to shake claws, and the ceremony is concluded.
All right, brother. Give me some skin. Slip me 7. No, listen, turn it off. He just wants to shake hands. You're spoiling everything. Off. Now, where's that button? Off!
Evil. Well, there it is, you know. We hoped we could muddle through, but you can't win them all, you know. There's only one thing left. Kill the devil!
About 30 of the Tellians heaved stone spears at me, and naturally I disappeared inside the Anderson-Woodward force field, and the spears rattled off the whining coruscating power sphere. I tried to walk back to the ship, but the Protect went on about every half step, and at that rate it would take me about a month to cover the ground. I figured I'd wait them out. And then I noticed that the air inside the field began to go stale. I came out of the field. The Tellians were sitting around. Rennick picked up a spear.
Evil.
Wait. Hold off. Fins. Fair play.
Fair play?
I say, Rennick, he's due a 3-minute sanctuary under the sacred law of his hipple.
Really think so?
We invoked fair play.
True. All right, Monster. You have 3 minutes.
Thanks. Hello, Sliggert. Come in, Sliggert.
Ah, there you are, Bentley.
Listen, you've got to get me out of this. They're trapping me in the Protect.
You mean the Protect is saving you from harm?
No, they keep activating it. They'll starve me out.
Now, don't get panicky. Just sit tight in the Protect field till they see they can't harm you.
You confounded idiot. There's no air in there. The force field cuts it off. I'll choke.
Oh, dear, that's true, isn't it? Don't worry. We'll correct that in future models.
Oh, thanks a lot. But what am I going to do right now? How do I get this thing off?
Well, now I am sorry. To tell the truth, I designed the harness so that you couldn't get out under any circumstances.
Oh, you lousy...
Please, let's keep our heads. If you can hold out for a couple of months, we might be able
I can't. The air, the water. And I hate to mention it, but they seem to be building fires around me.
I'm sorry. Your 3 minutes are up. We are going to destroy you with fire.
Yeah, it's traditional that way. My dear chap, would you like to kindle the first blaze?
Oh, after you, old fellow. Remember, I burned the last evil monster.
True. Oh, Monster.
Yes?
Do you have a light?
I knew I was cooked, one way or the other. They started to light fires around me in a circle, and the Protect snapped on. I had to get out. Of course, when I did, the Tellians would cheerfully spear me to death. But at least I had a chance of running. The field snapped on again. I grabbed my knife from the tool chest and hacked at the thick duroplastic webbing of the harness. I came out of the field long enough to hear Sliggert shouting in my ear.
What are you doing?
Cutting my way out of this fire trap.
You don't dare destroy government equipment. This will go down on your 201 file.
Look, I'm trapped inside the field as long as they feed the fire. And considering how they feel about devils, they'll probably keep it up a couple of 100 years. Uh-oh. They're pushing the fire closer. Goodbye. I tore at the straps with my wire cutters and knife. I could only work when the field was off. The Protect protected itself. Finally, I ripped the harness off just as the field went on, and I was thrown 20 feet into the fire. But I landed on my feet and was off and running. It took the Tellians just 100 yards to catch up and gently lay a stone club along the side of my head. Oh, well, let's get it over with. You're going to kill me. Let's not make a production out of it.
Oh, but my dear fellow, we don't want to kill you.
Dear me, no. We knew you were a good man. It was the devil we wanted.
I don't mean to be tactless, but you do know you had a devil riding on your back.
We tried to purify him, but he was too strong. The fire took the starch out of him, though.
The devil? Devil on my back? Oh, yeah, I guess so, yes.
You know, our village is very proud to have such a powerful devil chained up inside a fire ring.
Tell me, my dear chap, you haven't by any chance any more devils like that in your homeland?
No, that's the only one.
Pity.
Huh?
We'd really be tickled orange if we could have a few more to worship, you know.
You mean trade for them?
Why, yes. I'm sure every village would want one.
Well, I think that can be arranged. And you haven't seen anything. We'll sell you devils that really are devils. After all, this one is just an early model.
Fred Collins again, and I'll be back to tell you a word about tonight's X-1 in a moment.
Bob Barker. Yes, Ralph? Bob. I just want to say that I heard you emceeing the Truth or Consequences program on NBC Radio, and I thought you were great, boy.
Well, that's
real
quite a
great. I mean it.
Coming from none other than Ralph Edwards, the creator of and original Truth or Consequences MC. You really liked the show, Ralph?
Oh, I'll say I did. It was wonderful hearing it on radio again. Sounded better than ever.
Well, no one should know better than you, Ralph. But really, we just can't miss. Our contestants are wonderful.
Yes,
the
I
stunts
know.
are out of this world.
Mm-hmm.
Surprise family reunions, the gigantic whisper contest.
Yes.
A dream world of jackpot prizes, especially for NBC radio listeners.
Really?
And not just once a week, Ralph, but every weekday morning.
No
That's
kidding.
right. Monday through Friday. Can you beat it?
I'm going to right now, Bob. So long, folks.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, which this month features Make Me an Offer by Con Blomberg. Galaxy Magazine on your newsstand today. Tonight, X-1 has brought you Early Model, a story from the pages of Galaxy written by Robert Sheckley and adapted for radio by Ernest Kenoy. Featured in our cast were Bob Hastings, Joseph Bell, Anthony Kemble Cooper, and Alastair Duncan. This is Fred Collins speaking. X-1 was directed by Daniel Sutter and is an NBC Radio Network production.
There's excitement in the air at night, and Nightline brings it to you. Hear Nightline with Walter O'Keefe. Next on most of these NBC stations.
There is one thing that Jerry and Joan may be quite sure of on the magic island of Euclidia. No matter what part of this artificial island in the South Pacific they visit, they're going to get action of some kind. When Captain Bradford was put to sleep by a ray gun in their prison cells, and Mrs. Gregory offered to remain with the captain until he recovered, it was decided that Jerry and Joan should go alone on a tour of as much of the island as they were allowed to reach. Their friend, the Euclidean girl submarine commander, has just left them in a tiny storage closet on the 9th level below the surface. And, as there is no echo heard, Jerry and Joan feel safe in talking the situation over.
Oh, all right, then. All right. I'm right.
Very well, Jerry. You are correct.
I said that girl submarine commander was a friend of ours, didn't I?
You did?
And she just now helped us out a lot, didn't she?
How?
By telling us we had 3 days to plan what we were going to do about escaping from this place.
Her assistance would have been more valuable had she offered a plan of escape.
Oh, sure. And she could have been a real help if she'd dug up a magic carpet and had us all back in Hollywood in 10 minutes. Well, you ought to be blamed grateful for what she did tell us. Why, in 3 days we can do a whole lot. And we'd better start right now.
Do you have a plan?
Yeah. Keep moving. Standing still's no good.
Then let us go at once.
Have you got any idea what the directions are down here?
No, Jerry. Sections of the island may be revolved, and as you know, the entire island has been moved. It is quite impossible to determine any direction.
Okay, Joan. We'll just get out in the hall and start.
We may speak freely without fear of detection as long as our voices remain normal in tone.
But when they get that funny hollow sound, Euclideans are listening to us, huh?
That is right.
Then let's remember that, and when our voices start jumping back at us out of the walls, quit talking.
This is not the door through which we entered this room.
Huh? Not the same door?
No. We entered through that door.
Then where does... Hey, this room has a door on every wall.
There are many rooms with a door in each wall. We must use care in our choice of a corridor through which to continue our search.
Yeah, just a little harder than finding that camel in a needle. Every one of these blame halls look just alike, and you know it. They're all shining steel tunnels, so we haven't got any choice. But if you say this is a different door from the one we came in, then let's go this way.
We may as well. To retrace our former course would only take us back to the cells occupied by Mother and the Captain.
Precisely.
Jerry Hall. You do not like that word. Why do you use it?
Well, just to get your goat.
How many times must I remind you that I have no goat?
Never mind. Flying off the handle every time I open my mouth. Let's get busy.
I have no idea where this will lead us.
Well, just so we go someplace and learn something. There's so much I don't know about this island that it makes no difference where I start in learning. Hey, ouch!
Jerry, did you hurt yourself?
No, I didn't hurt myself, but this whatever it is here sure didn't do me any good.
I can see nothing there. It must be one of the invisible steel doors.
Invisible steel?
I should have expressed myself differently. The door is actually so perfectly transparent that it is impossible to detect its presence with the eye. Hence it is called invisible.
You mean there's a steel door right here in front of me?
Feel it with your hand.
Well, golly whiskers. That stuff is clearer than glass. I can see the whole corridor through it, and it's still as strong as steel.
Euclidia is a place of wonders to those who are not accustomed to it.
You've been here 14 years, And you get plenty of surprises, I notice.
I was not attempting to appear superior, Jerry.
Okay, just so you don't. Remember what I told you. The higher they are, the harder they fall.
Who will fall from what?
Oh, skip it. And let's get around the other side of this invisible door and see what goes on there. Oh, all these blame hallways look just alike to me.
We do not know where we are going.
Nope, but we're on our way.
Why are you walking with your arm out before you?
Oh, so if I meet another of those funny steel doors, I'll bump my hand instead of my nose.
This is most unusual, Jerry.
Huh? What is?
That we should be allowed to walk around so freely in these lower corridors. Some of the most carefully guarded secrets on the island are contained in these lower levels.
Well, I sure haven't seen anything yet that I'd run home and tell about.
Perhaps we haven't tried the proper doors.
Well, we'll keep on trying them until somebody stops us. And here's where we try another one. Right now.
You are very careless in your method of striking these doors.
They won't bite, will they?
Some of them are electrified.
Hey, fine time to tell me that, after letting me open 2 of them with my bare hands. Well, what do you do with these things?
I would suggest that you press against the door with your shoe.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
It does not open.
I discovered that for myself.
This door you must pull toward yourself. The small opening near the bottom will suffice. Use the toe of your shoe.
You do see things at that, don't you?
On Euclidia, our power...
I know. But let's go on hunting places to learn things. Hey, Joan, did you notice that?
While the door was open, the communication channels were active.
Yeah, and somebody heard what we said.
But we said nothing while the door was open.
Then somebody heard nothing, which is swell. But how about that echoing noise? Doesn't that mean the opening of that door was registered on some of their instruments?
Presumably. But it may be some time before the graphs are calibrated and readings noted. The scientists are occupied otherwise. I think our progress is not being followed.
Well, let's go some more then, and I hope you're right.
We should now be nearing the center of the island.
Center? It can't be. This thing is 1,000 feet across, isn't it?
The main portion is 600, roughly. Actually, the diameter of the central section is exactly 1/10 of a nautical mile, or 608 feet.
Well, I know we haven't walked any 300 feet since we left the confinement cells.
Agreed. However, I think the cells are not on the extreme outer ring of the island. Furthermore, the narrowing curvature of these walls would indicate our progress toward the center.
Looks like you're right. But what do we find when we hit the center?
The central control elevator is the axis of Euclidia.
Well, then maybe we can get up in that elevator shaft and see what's going on in some of the other levels.
It will not be so simple, I think. While I am not familiar with this level, it is only logical to suppose that we will find various chambers arranged around the elevator shaft.
And maybe somebody in those chambers won't like the idea of our touring around.
Precisely. Oh, undoubtedly.
Well, if we're near the center, we'll soon find out, because here comes another door.
Jerry, the door is not coming.
Well, we're coming to the door. What's the difference?
A great deal. If the door were moving toward us...
All right. I'm sorry I started it, but here is the door.
We should proceed with more than usual care now.
I know it. But how am I going to do anything about it?
The door and walls will be soundproofed. It would do no good to listen at the door.
Well, that's what I was afraid of.
Yet I fear that something we will regret will follow the opening of that door.
What, for instance?
I do not know.
Sure, you're a help.
If you were clever enough to ridicule me, you would not need my help.
Well, you win. Let's go on in.
But we may be in danger.
We are in that anyhow. And we've got to do everything we can to get your mother and Tex and ourselves out of this. Now, you stand over to one side, and if any ray guns or tricks are waiting to jump out at us, it won't hit both of us, and you can run back to the others.
I would not run away and leave you, Jerry.
You'd better, but maybe nothing will happen. Here I go. Hey, Joan, look at that.
I have not seen him for years. I had forgotten he existed. I think we may safely stand and watch him for a moment.
Well, keep your voice down. The old guy will hear you.
But he is quite deaf.
Deaf?
Yes, deaf.
You don't mean deaf, do you?
I said deaf, and I mean deaf. Totally lacking in the sense of hearing.
Oh, I know what deaf means, all right. But I don't see how he could be deaf.
You do not know that man, do you, Jerry?
Never saw the funny old guy before.
Then you are in no position to judge as to whether or not he is deaf.
Look, Joan, that old guy is tapping on glasses of water with that little steel rod, isn't he?
He is?
Well, I've seen him do things like that on the stage, and they were always making noises or playing tunes with those glasses.
This old man is doing much the same thing. He is making musical notes.
Just what I thought. And he acts like he was pretty busy at it, too. Now watch when he hits that glass and then listens till the last little note of sound is gone.
If you can see and understand what he is doing, why must you question his ability to do it?
Because if he's deaf, he can't hear what he's doing. And no matter what note he hits or what noises he makes, he wouldn't know anything about it.
He is listening to the vibrations.
Vibrations?
Yes. He has trained his sense of touch to such perfection that he will instantly recognize several thousands of notes of the audible scale.
Thousands of notes? What are you talking about? Well, there aren't even hundreds of notes, let alone thousands.
On Euclidia, we have developed our sense of hearing far beyond your worldly knowledge, and we easily hear sounds entirely beyond the range of your ears. Sounds to which even your most delicate detection and recording apparatus will not respond.
Golly whiskers. You mean we can only hear half of what's going on around us?
You do not hear 1/100th of the sound waves beating at your ears.
Well, maybe not, but I know that I hear plenty. Hey, Joan, that note he just struck. I can't stop hearing it.
Jerry, are you hearing a musical note?
Sure I am. It sounds funny. No, it's not funny. It hurts. It hurts my ear, makes my head ache.
Step back and close the door at once. Hurry, Jerry.
What for?
Do as I tell you at once. Now, do you hear that note?
Well, no. Well, I guess I don't. But my head sure feels funny.
That was your Keystone Note.
My what?
Your Keystone Note. That note, steadily played or beaten within your hearing, would soon make you deaf or worse.
Make me deaf? What about you?
I did not hear it.
You didn't hear the sound when he hit that glass?
I heard the common vibrant note of the accepted musical scale, but the sustained note, the constant sound which continued to beat against your inner ear, that was not keyed to my hearing, hence it did not bother me.
You mean that old guy's experimenting with those notes to find out which one bothers people and which ones they keep on hearing until it would drive them crazy?
Exactly. Even in your poor scientific world, you have heard of a musical note shattering a glass or even shaking a small building, have you not?
Well, sure.
When that man's experiments are completed, he will be able to sound a note which will destroy a large building, a bridge or a tunnel. One note, and a battleship will crumple as easily as a piece of paper. Another note, and an aeroplane high in the air will disintegrate. The note will strike the keynote of the motor. The synchronization will be destroyed, and the machine will shake itself to pieces in a matter of seconds.
Golly whiskers. Why, if they could really do that, these crazy scientists could capture the whole world without hurting anyone. And they wouldn't need one single gun or a weapon of any kind.
Precisely, Jerry. You have seen only one of the many devices being made ready for G-47's conquest of the world. Yet that one alone should convince you of the futility of ever escaping from this island and coming back to take it over.
Well, it don't look so good. I'll say that.
What would you do if you heard one single musical note that would destroy the largest building in the world? There wouldn't be much you could do against such a threat as that. And that's the strange Euclidean power which Jerry and Joan have just seen and heard. Down on the 9th level, below the surface of the island, Jerry and Joan have been scouting around trying to find a possible avenue of escape, while Joan's mother has been taking care of the unconscious Captain Bradford. The young couple are just outside the door of a small laboratory where they have seen the actual experiments with the musical notes which are to control the world if the Euclidean plan works out. Jerry and Joan don't seem any too happy about it.
Why, golly whiskers, Joan. That's the weirdest thing I ever heard of.
It is not entirely pleasant, is it, Jerry?
Pleasant? It's got my goat.
But, Jerry, you...
And don't tell me I haven't got a goat. I have, and it's been got.
Though you need a lesson in English, I think we will not take time for it now.
I know we won't. Let's get on back to Tex and your mother and tell them what we found. You know, if G-47 and the rest of these scientists can chase us around with a noise that is going to make battleships fall to pieces, Tex ought to know it right away.
What will Captain Bradford be able to do?
Well, I don't know, but we can't ask him here. Come on.
But we came that way, Jerry.
No, we didn't. This is the way we came.
I am sure you are wrong, Jerry.
How are you so sure?
Do you not remember that I called your attention to the angle of the corridor narrowing as we approached this end?
Yeah, I remember that all right. But it gets narrower down this way, too.
Oh, yes, so it does.
Then you don't know which way we're going.
I must admit that I do not.
Well, neither do I. But I've got a hunch it's down this way.
We may as well go this way as any other.
Now, what do we do?
Doors. Doors all around us.
I know we never passed that many doors all in one bunch.
Remember that sections of this island may be rotated, If the corridor we traversed before was north and south, it is quite possibly running east and west now.
That's why this blame island makes me tired. Nothing stands still long enough for you to figure it out. Who ever heard of a tunnel running all over the place? Fine thing, that is. Wouldn't some of our railroad engineers back home get a surprise to find their tunnels turned around? Boy, that would be something, wouldn't it? Imagine starting through a tunnel in Canada, Rocky Mountains, and coming out in Mexico.
That is ridiculous, beside the problem, none of our concern, and impossible.
Oh, you don't like it much?
I do not.
Then I'll put the tunnel back where it belongs and we'll walk some more.
We will soon have to make a choice of doors, Jerry.
Well, I like that one over there. It's already open.
It was not open a moment ago.
Well, it is now.
Then someone must be in there.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Let's use one we have to open ourselves. It won't seem quite so much like a trap.
That looks similar to the door we came through.
Okay, if you say so. Let's go.
Jerry, do not move. That door is opening also.
Yeah, I see it is. This thing is beginning to get spooky.
I think we may safely use any of these doors.
But even if they keep opening up like this?
Yes. I have seen doors like these open on the other levels. They are operated by the sound of our voices directed toward them. I am sure we will find every opening in this chamber guarded by a voice-controlled door.
Well, how about telling one of them to go shut again? Gee whiz.
Jerry, the door closed when you looked at it and used the word shut.
Well, I thought that too. But that doesn't make sense. How could a door close on a certain word?
This is the level on which all sound control devices are put into actual use.
I thought that was on the 5th level, near the chemical laboratory. Don't you remember that we found all that soundproof paint up there before we escaped from the island before?
Yes, Jerry. That is where the chemicals for sound control are compounded. Paints, oils, gases, and solutions. But on this level, mechanical sounds are developed, such as the musical notes we saw the old man making with the glasses containing water.
Okay, if you say so. Let's work it again. Now, I'll look right straight at that door over there.
That is the one you tried accidentally before. I would suggest you choose another for this experiment.
Well, you know these self-starting doors better than I do. I'll take that one over there. Look right straight at it and tell it to open.
Jerry, it is opening.
Then you're all wrong. I hadn't told it to.
Do not lose your head, Jerry. Remember what G47 told you. There is no magic here. Euclidia is a land of fact. You used the word open when you spoke.
Golly. Hey, maybe you're right. Well, I'll try the same door on the word shut.
You see?
Yeah, I see. It's about all I can stand.
Which door do you think we should go through?
Oh, that one that stays shut over there. Let's see if we can open it by talking. Hey, there it goes.
You used the word open.
Well, let's get through it before it changes its mind.
We are entering another chamber such as that
We
one.
might as well be on a merry-go-round.
What is a merry-go-round?
Oh, I'm too busy to tell you now, but it goes around and around and you don't get any place. Now, let's see if we have to turn around and talk straight at that door or if it can keep our backs to it.
I think the voice must be directed.
Well, we'll see. Shut. Go on. Shut. No good.
I will try looking directly at the door. Shut.
Joan, if we ever get off this island, I'm going to write a book about it.
I will help you.
Yeah, but first, how about a little help finding those jail cells we were in?
I am anxious to see Mother and the Captain.
Yeah, me too. I'd rather be locked up with them than running around here loose by ourselves.
Are you afraid, Jerry?
No, but I could be mighty easy. Hey, where did that come from?
Another door closed.
Well, let's open one. Open. Open. Open.
You must direct your voice at the door.
I did. Well, I'll try another one. This one right here. Open. Open. Hey, open.
That is most unusual.
Yeah, it's also not so good. Maybe I can open one by hand.
Oh, Jerry, I do not like this.
Oh, steady, Joan. It may be all right. I'll try another one.
Oh, Jerry, we are prisoners in this room. All the doors are closed against us.
Well, it looks that way, Joan. But we'll have to keep trying.
Where they were, I would still feel that they'd been gone far too long. After all, they're only youngsters, Tex, and we're responsible for them.
I know that, Pat, and I can understand how you feel, but question is, would we be helping them by starting out to look for them?
How could we be doing anything else?
We haven't the least idea where they are or where we are. And if we go out looking for them and miss them, what are they going to think when we aren't here when they get back?
Yes, I suppose you're right, Tex. But you're not able to start out walking just after recovering from that sleep-producing ray? But I can't sit here much longer.
Well, I suppose we'll help them just as much by moving as by sitting still. They're no more afraid of this place than we are. Let's go, Pat.
Oh, are you sure you're equal to it, dear?
I'm equal to anything when you're concerned, Pat.
You always have been. And I haven't been very appreciative lately. But one of these days, when this is all over...
I know, Pat, and don't worry about that now. The most important thing is to find those kids and get ourselves organized around here.
You're quite sure it won't be too much for you?
Oh, I'm all right. That ray gun didn't do anything but put me to sleep. Maybe a little dopey for a while, but if you do the thinking, I can at least tag along behind you.
Have you any idea where we are?
Not the slightest. Joan said she thought we were on the 9th level. But as to what side of the island or where we go from here, I can't even make a good guess.
Well, at least we know we can find the elevator if we return the same way we were brought in here.
Yeah, if we can remember how we came. Now, if we can open this door without getting put to sleep again.
Jerry and Joan went out without trouble. Joan's theory was that the ray gun had been set to fire only one shot when the door was opened, predicated on the belief that one shot would discourage any further attempts to leave.
Well, let's hope she was right. How about that water?
Well, the corridor was dry when they left.
Okay, then here goes. Well, nothing happens. Here we go.
It isn't going to be very easy to find our way. These walls and doors look exactly alike in every direction.
Yes, and they're all made of that transparent steel, with us on the wrong side of them to see anything.
And most likely every move we make is being watched and every word overheard.
I don't think so. Joan said she was sure G-47 and all his men were busy trying to figure out how to move this island without disturbing the surface of the water so much.
And I suppose her judgment is better than ours where this mad place is concerned.
It should be. Well, now where do we go?
Probably doesn't make much difference. I imagine we'll have to continue looking everywhere until we find them.
Well, this door looks as good as any other.
Well, shouldn't you listen before you open it?
Wouldn't do any good. They're soundproof.
No matter where we are on this island, the story is always the same. No chance to protect ourselves. Just stumble along blindly, trusting to luck.
Seems to be about all we can do, all right. We might as well get at it.
Now we are in a quandary.
We sure are. A 6-sided room with 6 doors leading out of it. Well, we can't say we didn't have any choice here.
Let's just take the first one and see what happens.
Whatever you say, Pat. Oh, good. That one won't open.
Then there must be something in there we're not supposed to see.
And we won't see it. Well, I'll try the next one.
It looks as if we've located a series of rooms which must contain something very valuable.
They sure keep it a secret, whatever it is. Well, now let's see. We came in that door. We've tried these 2. That leaves 3 over there. Suppose you take one of them, Pat. That'll save time.
All right. I can't move this one.
Same trouble over here. Well, that leaves only one.
Oh, I wonder if we should try this last door.
Why not?
Oh, I'm beginning to feel terribly nervous, Tex. We've been left alone so long that it just doesn't seem reasonable. After all, we are prisoners here, and G-47 must know we'll be making every effort to escape.
Yes, he's also got a pretty good idea that we're not going to get very far with our efforts. Might as well get it over with, Pat. We're prisoners, as you say. We wouldn't be in any worse fix if we had company, even the company of our captors. Here goes.
Well, we'll just have to go out the way we came, and we've only wasted our time in this room.
Right, let's get out of here.
Tex, we're locked in here.
No, we're not. These doors all look alike. Must have been another one we used. Yeah, this will be the one. I remember now. We went all the way around the room. That's funny. I know it was one of these 2 doors.
Wait, what is this one?
Now, don't get excited, Pat. We'll find the right door in just a minute.
Oh, I'm not so sure, Tex. We've tried them all. We're locked in, Tex, and we can't get out.
The program you are about to hear is largely fiction, science fiction. We make no guarantees, however, how long it will remain fiction.
Exploring Tomorrow. And now, here is your guide to these adventures of the mind, John Campbell, Jr.
The philosophers down the ages have hassled a long time and with many words about the good, the true, and the beautiful. The true, well, that can be defined pretty objectively. But there's a peculiar thing about beautiful. What is beauty? And in whose terms? Makes it difficult.
With the story of The Adventure of the Beauty Queen, which stars Miss Charlotte Sheffield, Miss United States of 1958.
Beauty is a much more complicated problem than the question of truth, actually. A truth is an eternal thing. If it's true, it's true, and that's that. But beauty is appropriate. It changes as the situations change. It changes with time. I wonder how our own concepts of beauty, that is, our human race's concepts of beauty, will change as time goes by. Let's suppose that a famous young woman of our time, Miss United States, if you like, is awakened in her sleep by an alien presence. A strange force she feels but cannot see. It's something she knows is there.
Who are you?
You know I am here.
Yes.
Can you see me?
No.
Nor can I see you. But I am conscious I am with you.
Dreams, of course.
No, it's real.
Who are you?
A man who, in your terms, belongs to the distant future. I am unborn in the way you think of it. And to me, you have been dead over 1,000 years, were I back in my own orbit.
Someone's playing a joke.
No, this is no joke. But please, don't be afraid. I mean no harm.
You're dead 1,000 years. Wherever you are, what are you talking about?
Listen to me. Try to understand. I belong to a race of scientists. In simple words you can understand, we have a device which enables us to project ourselves into the past. You belong to the past. Do you understand?
Yes.
The device has made me conscious of you for a long time. I have used it to explore the past, and in these explorations, I have searched for the highest form of human beauty.
How do you know whether or not I'm beautiful if you can't see me?
The device tells me you're beautiful. Beauty, real beauty, is a force that transmits itself, that can be picked up by a form of radar. Please understand, I'm only using terms I think you can follow. In my own orbit, I would not even talk to a child in such simple terms.
Go away. Please go away.
I can't. I'm in love with you.
What?
In love with you.
In love?
Yes.
Oh.
Very much. Is it funny?
Oh, yes.
I don't think it is.
But it is.
Do women of your time always laugh at a man's love?
Oh, don't be silly. I wasn't laughing at you.
Well, then at what?
I just thought it was very funny. The idea of your being in love with a blip on a radar screen. After all, that's about what I am to you, isn't it?
Oh, no.
It must be.
No. The radar screen, as you call it, simply picked you up, pointed you out to us.
Us?
My associates and I.
Oh.
I felt very strongly drawn to you. I convinced my associates to conduct further experiments, actual contact with someone out of the past. You. I had to know you. I had to come into orbit with you.
Look, don't you think this joke has gone far enough?
Well, I told you this is not a joke.
Of course it is.
Well, you know better.
Oh, don't you suppose I know what's going on? Well, I should have thought of it a long time ago.
What is going on?
Why, it's very simple. Someone installed a radio pickup in this room. And you're talking to me through a microphone.
Talking to you?
You are, aren't you?
Oh, no.
What do you mean, no?
I'm not talking to you in the way you think I am. I'm projecting to you.
Oh, please stop this.
But it's not your voice I hear. I'm receiving impulses from you, not actual words. The device I mentioned interprets the nature of your impulses, translates them into my language. It does the same for you.
It's true. I don't hear your voice. Not as a sound, I mean.
You begin to realize.
Please stop.
No, don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid. You must be insane to say that. I'm scared out of my life. I want to scream. I'm afraid to. I'm not even sure I'm awake. I'm not even sure I'm alive.
You're alive. In your century. Now, understand what I'm telling you. In a moment, you'll be drawn out of your orbit, projected into the future, into my orbit. I want to see you. I want to see if you're as beautiful as your impulses say you are. If you are, I'm afraid I'll keep you where I am in the future.
No, I don't believe any of it. You're mad. Whoever you are, you're quite insane.
Are you receiving me?
Yes.
Don't be afraid. You're in limbo, on your way into my orbit.
Exploring Tomorrow continues in just a moment.
All of us, as American citizens, believe in our inherent liberties and freedoms, such as the freedom of the individual to choose and elect his own national representatives. It has been said that there is only one ruling class in America, the people themselves, who, through their vote, have established the law of our land. The real importance of this freedom depends on our accepting the responsibility not only to know what we are voting for or against, but also to choose our leaders for the best interests of the nation. So, accept your responsibility and ensure your freedom.
Of all things men have discussed and considered today, time is the one of which we know least. We know how to travel in space, and recent physical work has indicated that actually things can travel backwards as well as forwards in time, but we know nothing about it. And one of the things that would be strange on this, how long does it take to travel through time? When you are traveling through time itself, how long does it take to go from now to then? How long was Miss United States in that limbo before she was there?
I'm talking to you. I'm projecting to you. Are you receiving me?
Yes.
Are you afraid?
A little.
Not as much as you thought you'd be.
No.
Have you any idea of where you are?
I'm in a room. That's all I know.
I'm in the next one. We're on the 500th floor of the Institute of Technical Research in the city of Columbia. In your century, I believe you called it Washington.
Washington?
You understand, this is America.
I'm glad to hear that. At least.
Yes, I can see it relieves you.
You can see me?
Very clearly.
And am I?
Are you what?
Well, what you expected me to be.
To some extent.
Do you find me unattractive?
Alien.
Alien?
Different.
Yes, I know the meaning of the word.
At first, I was conscious of a sense of shock when I first saw you.
At least you're frank.
Well, I'm a scientist.
Do you find me ugly?
I said alien. Of course, I knew you would be. I didn't expect you to measure up physically to our standards. The human form has improved a great deal since your century.
But why? Was there a reason?
Man-made reasons.
Can you tell me?
Well, it began with interplanetary wars conducted by the nations of the world. The struggle to build empires in outer space on other planets.
When was this?
Oh, not in your century. You saw only the first feeble attempts to explore space.
Yes, I suppose our attempts are feeble.
Well, the interplanetary wars did a great deal of destruction, particularly on this planet. Precious documents, books, records were lost. But there was another result. The atmosphere of the Earth became charged with radioactive matter. For a while, it looked as though the human race had become extinct, but it didn't. The human body acclimated itself to new atmospheric conditions and flourished again. But by that time, our physical form had changed. It changed for the better. And today...
Go on.
Well, today, the human form is the most beautiful creation has ever seen.
And by your standards, I am something of a shock to you.
Your physical form was, at first, yes.
Am I very different from the women here?
Very different.
To you, they're beautiful.
They are beautiful.
Would I find them attractive?
I don't think so.
I might.
Oh, no.
Why not? If they're so beautiful, I mean.
Well, your conception of beauty is not ours.
I understand that, but...
But what?
I don't know. I was going to say that beauty is beauty, but that wouldn't make any sense.
No, the concept of beauty is what matters.
But you said beauty is a force. It radiates.
The inner beauty radiates.
I understand that, too.
Well, how do you think of the universe?
Oh, I think I associate it with God. Identify it with the divine mind.
I'm surprised.
The universe is a reflection of God.
Now I begin to understand why, in spite of your physical form, your beauty reached me. And it has nothing to do with your looks.
I wouldn't be very gracious if I didn't say thank you.
I'm going to keep you here, you know, if I can.
I don't think you quite mean that.
I mean it in every sense. I want you now to remember what I've said about the change for the better in human form. I'm going to open the door to your room and come in. Now, please keep in mind that I do not look as the men of your century looked, but also remember that here I'm supposed to be a reasonably good-looking fellow.
I would like to see you.
Well, you will in the next few seconds.
That which is beautiful and befitting, appropriate, depends on the environment it's in. The future people have had to undergo some rather complete changes to meet the environment that, shall we say, we, their ancestors, had imposed on them. A little too much radioactivity. And that which was beautiful is no longer befitting. The thing that is now befitting we might not think of as particularly beautiful.
Is it so bad?
I'm sorry.
I should not have exposed myself to the shock you feel, to the revulsion you feel at the sight of me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I should have known.
Forgive me. I just can't look at you for a moment. I have to adjust.
There's a window behind you. You can look out.
Oh, thank you. Please, don't resent me.
No, I was just wondering if you have any idea how incredible to me your revulsion is.
Yes, I think I have an idea.
You must overlook what sounds like vanity, but I have to repeat what I told you before. I'm supposed to be more than passably good-looking.
Yes, I understand.
But you can't stand the sight of me.
Give me a moment. Are you looking at me?
Yes.
Does it still hurt you?
No. Oh, I'm too conscious of your inner beauty.
I'm very grateful.
I'm curious about something.
Yes?
Are you conscious of any of my impulses?
I think so.
Do you find them hostile?
No.
Alien?
No.
Do they cause you any fear?
I don't think so.
Well, forgetting how I appear to your eyes, do you like me?
Yes. Yes, I think you must be a very nice person.
The curious thing is...
Yes?
I was going to say, the curious thing is I'm still in love with you.
You mustn't be.
Perhaps love is a dimension.
I don't know. I'm too confused to think about it.
Or perhaps it's an orbit we enter or leave. I don't know either. It was just a thought.
You can't examine love through a microscope, can you?
Well, it's been exposed to every kind of study for centuries. Even the people of your time knew its reactions to be purely chemical. Of course, your poets didn't agree, but then neither do ours.
Do you have poets?
Oh, yes, we have them. They resist us. They call themselves the last human barrier against science. They refuse to understand what basic science is.
What is it?
Well, isn't it man's eternal craving to find out more about the universe, or the divine mind?
Let me go back.
Go back?
Please.
How can you even want to go back? Look, what do you see through that window? Nothing but beauty. Miles of emerald green fields with cities that sparkle like diamonds rising out of them. Nothing but prosperity. Prosperity and peace. And you want to go back to your miserable century?
To my people. To my own people. I belong with them. I don't belong here.
I'll tell you something. We're being observed, listened to by my associates.
Observed?
Well, the final decision must come from them. I'm as much a part of this experiment as you are, even though it was my idea. My idea. Now that we've succeeded in drawing you out of your orbit into ours, I don't think our science will release you. We can learn a great deal from you about the things of your century. Besides, I love you. I want to keep you here.
Please! Please don't touch me! Please don't touch me! Dream. That's all it was. It's all it was. It couldn't have been anything else. It couldn't have been.
There are parts of beauty that are eternal, that are not like the physical that changes, but the beauty of a true and honest personality. This sort of beauty, that will endure. There are things that you can rely on as time goes by. Woman needs man, man must have his mate. On this you can rely. The only thing is, the definition of man and woman will tend to change with the passing of ages. But the fundamental things apply. An honest man and an honest woman. These we need forever.
Join us for a fascinating adventure in Exploring Tomorrow. Heard in our cast tonight were Brett Morrison and the real Miss United States of 1958, Charlotte Sheffield. Script was by John Fleming. Produced and directed by Sanford Marshall here in New York. Guy Wallace speaking.
We pause now for station identification.
Kellogg's Pep, the super delicious cereal, presents The Adventures of Superman. Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Yes, it's Superman who is today completely mystified by the strange attack that seized Jimmy Olsen and Tony Sloan at the lair of the dragon. We'll take you to the scene in a moment. But right now, here's Dan McCullough with an important V-Day reminder for you.
Say, gang, I guess you're just about as excited as I am today at the good news. It is swell, isn't it? Yes, this is a day that we've all been waiting for and working for. And what a day it'll be when the war in the Pacific is over, too. And you know, you fellas and girls can help make that day come sooner. Sure. Keep right on buying war stamps, lots of them. Keep on collecting every bit of waste paper. Save scrap metal. Keep on doing the splendid work you have been doing right along. Remind your friends and your neighbors that they must continue to save every bit of used fat and turn it in. And you girls can help Mother with the mending, too. It's important to make things over and make them last as long as possible. In fact, there are countless ways in which you can help. And believe me, those boys in Europe really appreciate all that you fellows and girls have done, and the boys in the Pacific are counting on you to go on doing the same thing for them, too. So, gang, the harder we all work, the sooner all our boys will get back home. And then we can really celebrate.
And now, the adventures of Superman.
Unaware that Jimmy Olsen had been trapped by the dragon, a mysterious Japanese whom Clark Kent believed was responsible for the disappearance of Tony Sloan, a Daily Planet war correspondent, Kent permitted himself to be captured by a henchman of the dragon. Taken to a house in San Francisco, Kent found Jimmy and Tony in the custody of the hooded Jap, who told the 3 Planet reporters that they were about to die in the same strange way in which the NIST planned to eliminate our armed forces. Left in a locked room with Kent, Tony and Jimmy suddenly declared that the flowers in the wallpaper were leaping out at them. And a moment later, they lost consciousness. As we continue now, Kent, puzzled and alarmed, had resumed his true identity of Superman. Listen.
Can't understand it. Something strange in this room, and I don't know what it is. I've got to get Jim and Tony out of here in a hurry. Up with them. There we are. Now, out through that boarded window. Away! Pulses are very low. They're gasping for breath. Down to that park. Down! There we are. Now to get these wire bonds off them. There. And then some quick artificial respiration. Let's see now. Out goes the bad air. In comes the good. Out.
Snapping the wires from the arms of Jimmy and Tony, the man of steel kneels over them, working their arms and forcing air into their gasping lungs. After several anxious minutes...
Where? What?
Jim's coming around. Tony's still out, though.
What happened?
You're all right, Jim. I can't seem to bring Tony to. Oh, wait a minute there. Now he's coming around. The moment is so, and he ought to be okay.
The flowers. Yes. Jim.
Everything's all right, Tony.
Leaping lizard. Superman.
That's right, Jim. Feel all right now?
Sure. Mr. Kent, Tony, look, it's Superman.
Superman?
Are you really Superman?
Yes, I am.
Mr. Kent. Where's Mr. Kent?
Kent's all right.
But where is he? He was in that room with us.
I know.
That's right.
Where is Kent? He's all right, I tell you. Now, look, you fellas stay here and rest. I'm going back to that house for the dragon. Up and away! There we are. There's the house. I don't see the dragon, though. Well, I'll just go down there. Great Scott. The whole house blew up. There's not a stick of it left.
Shocked by what he has just witnessed, Superman hovers above the great gaping hole in the earth where, but a moment before, the dragon's house had stood. Then, after a quick search of the neighborhood, he drops to earth. A few minutes later, once more in his guise of reporter Clark Kent, he enters the glade in the park where Jimmy Olsen and Tony Sloan have just risen unsteadily to their feet.
I wonder what that explosion was.
Well, it sounded like a bomb or something.
It wasn't a bomb, Jim.
Well, then what? Mr. Kent.
Kent. What happened to you? Well, I was just...
Superman said you were okay, but when you didn't show up, we got worried.
Yeah, we were just going to look for you. Well, I went to look for the dragon, but I was too late.
Too late?
Uh-huh. Afraid he got away. I reached his house just as it blew up. That was the explosion you heard.
Wow.
I don't know how it happened. There's nothing left there now except a huge hole in the ground.
Holy mackerel. Do you think the dragon was blown up?
No, Jim. I'm pretty sure he was.
Well, what makes you say that, Kent? If the whole house was blown up.
I was right above, right outside the house just before the explosion, and I'm reasonably certain the dragon wasn't in it.
But you couldn't see in the house, Mr. Kent. Maybe he was...
Just the same, I'm almost positive he got away, Jim. That is, Superman scoured the neighborhood, but couldn't find a trace of him or his gang. The police are searching now. Wish I knew what caused that terrific explosion.
Oh, maybe the dragon had dynamite planted in the basement. So when he makes a getaway, he can wash out all evidence.
Oh, that's what I thought at first, but enough dynamite to blow the whole house and foundation out of the ground to not leave a single brick or stone standing would have to be planted in more than one place. And that would have caused more than one explosion.
Yeah, that's right, Clark. I only heard one, though.
Yeah, so did I.
There was only one. I can't figure it out. And another thing that bothers me are those strange symptoms you fellows had before you lost consciousness. Thinking the flowers in the wallpaper were jumping out at you and not being able to breathe. I don't understand that either.
Great Jupiter, I forgot about that.
What?
Why, of course.
Huh?
Of course what, Tony?
What happened to us in that room and the house blowing up so mysteriously? That was all done by the dragon's secret weapon.
His what?
His secret weapon. The one I was tracing all over the South Pacific until I was wounded.
Oh.
Hey, look, Kent. Don't you remember what the dragon said? That Japan would destroy our troops in the same way that he was knocking us off?
Well, yes, but
what's that? See? That's how he plans to do it. With the secret weapon he used on us today. Unless we find out what that weapon is and learn how to deal with it, well, it'll cause a lot of grief and maybe cost a lot of lives.
Jeepers. But
just a minute, Jim. Look, Tony, I think you better tell us all you know and quick.
Okay. Come over to that bench. My bum leg won't hold me up anymore.
Oh, here, wait a minute. Let me help you.
There you are. Hey. If only I hadn't been wounded and nothing had happened to Sing Song, I might have had all the answers by now.
What answers? And what Sing Song?
I'll tell you in a minute. Here. All right, better on this bench. I can talk now.
Well, start talking, Tony. What about the secret weapon? How'd you disappear from that hospital ship? And what about those air squadron buttons?
Easy, Jim, easy. Let him catch his breath.
Oh, I'm all right now. You say the police are after the dragon, Kent?
Yeah. Let's hope they have better luck finding him than I did.
Oh, they've got to find him. Oh, but I got to tell you about this so you can help me. I guess I'd better start from the beginning.
Uh-huh.
Well, it began when General MacArthur decided we were ready to take back the Philippines. The big bombers started what they called their milk runs then to soften up Luzon. And I went along on a couple of the flights as correspondent. On my second flight, we caught a lot of flak, and one of our motors went out.
Uh-huh.
We were limping back home as best we could when about a dozen Jap Zeros jumped us.
Jeepers.
Yeah. Our gunners knocked down 4 of them, and the others turned to run. All but one devil who decided to win his way into Jap heaven by coming at us head on.
Wow.
Yeah. He managed to shear off a wing, and, well, some of us were lucky enough to be able to bail out. I was one of them.
Golly. Oh, what happened then, Tony?
We landed in the sea. When the other Japs saw what had happened, they came back to strafe us.
Dirty rat.
Just like them.
Yeah, you said it. I didn't inflate my life raft until they were gone, so they missed me.
Good.
Then I set up the raft, climbed in, and was so exhausted I fell asleep. When I woke up, I was just off the tiniest island you ever saw.
What do you mean?
Well, it was about the size of a small backyard and had just one stunted tree on it.
What?
And sitting by the tree with his head bowed was a native.
Oh, just him alone on that little island?
That's right, Jim. I called to him, but he wouldn't look up. So I paddled ashore and called to him again, but still he wouldn't look up. First I thought he was dead, but when I walked over to examine him, his eyes opened and he looked up at me. He was a fine-looking native, about 25. But in all my life, I've never seen such suffering etched in a man's face. I've seen lots of war.
Golly.
Who was he, Tony?
He was the only man in the world, except for Hirohito's war cabinet, who knew of the existence of the dragon's secret weapon. The weapon with which the Japs like to think they'll win the war.
God.
Well, how did he know?
He was the only man in the world, other than the Japs, who had witnessed a demonstration of the dragon's amazing weapon and lived to tell about it.
Well, what is it, Tony?
Well, I'm coming to it, Clark. Naturally, I asked him who he was and what he was doing all alone in this tiny island that didn't even have a hut on it. He had a long native name I couldn't pronounce, but it sounded something like Sing Song, so I called him that. The first thing he told me, I didn't want to believe. But later, when I looked at my maps, I found he was telling the truth. He started his strange story as 2 days ago. This was large island. Trees, flowers, much fruit and vegetable grow. Much fish in sea. All so pretty. 3,000 people live here. All so happy people.
3,000 people? Are you kidding, Sing Song?
What you say, Tony Sloan?
I say, you don't expect me to believe that, do you?
You must believe. I tell truth.
Oh, yeah? Well, this was a large island with 3,000 people on it. What happened to the land and to the people?
I tell. 2 days ago, warship come here. Small yellow-skinned men come off boat with guns. Leader say, we Japanese own whole world pretty soon. Where headman?
Japs, huh?
Yes. Headman, my father. He say, what you do here with guns? Jap leader say, we come do you great honor. We make experiments here with great new weapon. If works, all of you die for emperor, go to honorable Japanese heaven. Then we kill all Yankee dogs and own whole world.
Why, that's dirty. What do you mean?
My father, he asked that. He say, we happy people here, we not wish to die for your emperor. Then Jap leader say, insolent dog, shoot him. Then they shoot my father. Many of us try to stop them. They laugh and kill, shoot some, hit some on head with guns. Many people run away and hide. We peaceful people. We no have guns. We no fight back.
Yeah. Well, what happened then?
Jap leader and 6 others climb an old dead volcano. Jap leader throw many little pieces colored paper in there. He hollered, blessing on my noble cousin, son of heaven. Pretty soon, they come down again. Jap leader say to me and brothers, in 1 hour, everyone on this island die for noble emperor. Then they all go back to worship, sail away.
Dirty jack-rat.
Yeah. You've heard nothing yet. Get this.
We're listening.
You bet we are. Go ahead, Tony.
1 hour later, the entire island and everyone on it was wiped out.
What?
The jet ship bombed them?
No, there wasn't a single shell fired at them, Kent.
Oh, then planes came over and bombed them.
No, not a single plane came over either.
Then how...
Wait a minute. I got it. That volcano.
The volcano didn't erupt either, if that's what you were going to take, Kent.
I thought.
It had been inactive for centuries.
Oh.
But 1 hour after the Japs left, everyone on the island began to see the trees and flowers leaping out of the ground at them.
What?
Yeah, just like Jimmy and I did in the Dragon's place. And almost immediately after that, everyone except Sing Song was dead.
Incredulously, Clark Kent and Jimmy Olsen stare at Tony Sloan, not knowing whether to believe or disbelieve his shocking story. Don't fail to listen in tomorrow when Tony retells the rest of his amazing experience, which includes more dramatic surprises. So tune in, same time, same station, and follow the adventures of Superman. Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman! Fellows and girls, be sure to follow the adventures of Superman. Brought to you every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station, by the makers of that super delicious cereal, Kellogg's Pep. Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC publications. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System. WOR, New York. Kellogg's Pep, the super delicious cereal, presents the adventures of Superman. Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman. Yes, it's Superman who has today discovered the meaning of the numbers written on Lois Lane's mirror. We'll join him as Clark Kent in a moment. But right now, let's hear from Dan McCullough. The other afternoon, I happened to be over at Pee-wee's house when his big brother Jim dropped in unexpectedly on leave from the Army Air Force. And, just about the first thing Jim said, after he'd said hello to the family, of course, was, "Say, Pee-wee, where'd you get that button with the 3 golden planes on it? That's the insignia of my squadron, the 402nd. And after Pee-wee told him he got that swell-looking button and lots of others as prizes from Kellogg's Pep, well, Jim was mighty pleased. He said that all the Air Force men like their younger brothers and cousins and friends to know those insignia and what squadrons they stand for. So, gang, it looks like a good idea to get busy on your collection right now. Make sure you get all the first series and the second series, too. This new second series is mighty keen, Has the insignia of 8 Army Air Squadrons, 7 Navy Air Squadrons, 3 Marine Air Squadrons, plus 4 warplanes. And every single button is made of real long-lasting metal, enameled clear white, the insignia showing up sharp as anything in brilliant red and yellow and blue and black. Now, how you get these buttons is important. You can't buy them. You don't send in any money for them, not even a box top. But you do ask Mom to get a package or 2 of that super delicious whole wheat flake cereal, Kellogg's Pep. Then look inside for your prize, an exciting insignia or warplane button. Now, you'll find the button in the bottom of the package, in between the Pep carton and the inner wax bag. Remember the name. It's P-E-P, Pep, made by Kellogg's of Battle Creek.
And now, the adventures of Superman. Although Lois Lane is believed to have lost her life during a great flood, she is, as we know, actually the prisoner of 6 escaped convicts in the tiny village of Hilltop. When an Army plane dropped a walkie-talkie radio into the village, First Page Harry Doak, leader of the convicts, forced Lois to tell occupants of the plane that the convicts had been seen in a boat sweeping toward Mammoth Falls and were presumed to be dead. That done, Doak revealed to Lois that she and all the villagers would be wiped out to avoid leading witnesses to their robbing of the village bank. But meanwhile, Superman had found Lois's handbag with a mirror on which she had written with lipstick a number which proved to be the prison identification of First Page Harry. Convinced that Lois and the convicts were alive, Superman declared that he would find them. And as we continue now, in his guise of Cross Kent, he has just left the office of Colonel McLean, Director of Emergency Flood Relief, and is hurrying down the hall. Listen.
There's a parking lot behind this building. I can get out of these clothes there.
Oh, Kent, wait.
Yes? What is it, Colonel McLean? I'm in a hurry.
No, wait, please. I just got an important flash.
Yes?
The bridge was washed out, Kent.
What bridge?
The bridge into Bend City here.
Good night. That's bad. But the city's safe enough, isn't it?
We could keep the city safe if we got sandbags. But without them, we're likely to be underwater in a few hours.
Well, why can't you get them?
Because they must be brought in from across the river. And now with the bridge down, the sand trucks can't come here. Oh, this is terrible, Ken, terrible.
It certainly is. I hate to postpone looking for Lois, but I can't let 15,000 people die.
What'd you say?
I said 15,000 people have to come before one. Important as that one is. Relax, Colonel. I'll get those sandbags here.
You? How can you get them here?
Well, just leave it to me.
Well, this is a fine kind of joke, Kent, with 15,000 people doing.
I'm not joking. I know someone who can save the city. See you later, Colonel.
Where are you going?
See that those sandbags get here on time. So long. Here's the parking lot. Yeah, behind that car will do. Now, out of these clothes. Colonel McLean thinks I'm out of my mind. I'll bring those trucks. As Superman. Then start looking for Lois. There we are. All set. Out to that bridge now. Up! And away!
Leaping high from the parking lot, Superman streaks across the endangered city to the road behind the washed-out bridge, where a line of trucks loaded with sandbags stands by helplessly. Swooping down, the man of steel catches up one truck and, holding it in his powerful arms, bears it back across the raging, flood-swollen river to the menaced city. Setting it down gently, Superman rockets back to the second truck, and then a third, and a fourth. But meanwhile, several miles away in Hilltop, in the village bank which the convicts are using for their headquarters, Lois Lane listens fearfully as First Page Harry Doak issues instructions to his 5 convict companions.
Now get this, you guys, and get it right. In a few minutes, when it's fully dark, so that if any nosy army or police planes come over, they can't see what goes on, we knock down that barn near the river. We'll use one of the walls for the raft.
What do you mean, a raft, First Page?
Don't you know what a raft is, Squeaky?
Sure. But what for do we want a raft? You ain't thinking of going out in the water, are you?
With the current running a mile a minute, we'll be carried over Mammoth Falls and killed like we almost were before.
Yeah, sure. You must be kidding, first mate.
Oh, what makes you guys so stupid? Of course we ain't going on that raft.
Oh, we ain't?
Well, that's more like it.
We're sitting pretty, and we're staying put right here till the flood goes down. Then we pick up all the dough in this bank and the best car in the village, and we drive straight across the border to Mexico. And the cops won't bother us on account of they figure we're dead.
They do?
Yeah. I made Miss Lane tell them she saw us adrift in a boat and been carried toward Mammoth Falls. She told them on that walkie-talkie radio that dropped into the village. Hey, Miss Lane.
Well, you ought to know. You and this squeaky person were holding guns to my head.
Now, ain't we bad boys?
Yeah, ain't we, though?
What about this raft, First Page? What's that for?
Oh, that? That's special for Miss Lane here.
What?
And the other 37 people left in his village.
Hey, what are you going to let them go for?
So when a flood goes down and the cops and the relief people get here, they won't find anybody to tell them about us, dopey puss.
Good heavens.
Hey, that sounds okay.
But if you let them get away on the raft, won't they squeal to the cops?
Sure not. They'll all be at the bottom of Mammoth Falls. Right, boy?
Right.
Hey, it's perfect. First Page, you're the smartest crook whatever lived.
The wickedest, vilest, most cold-blooded murderer, you mean?
That's enough out of you. Okay, you guys, it's dark enough now. Let's go out now and knock down that barn. And we'll round up all the villagers and start them on a one-way boat ride.
Come on.
Come on. You stay here, Miss Lane. We'll be back to get you when the raft is ready.
Now, wait a minute. Listen to me.
Sorry, I haven't got time. I'll lock the door so the crickets can't get in.
Have fun, sister.
Oh, this is horrible. I've got to do something. I can't let them send all those people over the falls. But what can I do? Wait a minute. Maybe we didn't really lock the door. Oh, we did lock it all right. The murderer. And all four windows are barred. What do I do? I can't just wait here till they come back for me. I've got to think of something. What's that? That's someone tapping at the window. Can't see anyone. Oh, it's a small boy. Thank heaven I can tell him to warn everyone. If I can just get this window open. Oh, there. Son,
wait, miss. I saw the convicts go away and lock you in. I thought maybe I could...
Yes, you can do something for me. Listen, what's your name, son?
Jerry Farber.
How did you get here, Jerry? Don't you know the convicts said they'd shoot anyone who left his house?
Yeah, but I sneaked out anyway because my mother and sisters are scared.
Good for you. Good boy, Jerry. Now listen carefully. The convicts went to tear down a barn near the river. They're going to make a raft and put everyone in the village on it.
Gosh, miss, they can't do that. The current will carry the raft over Mammoth Falls, and we'll all be killed.
That's exactly what they want.
Oh, gee whiz, what'll we do? Only a few folks here had guns, miss, and the convicts took them all away.
They did, eh? Well, now listen, Jerry. Look, while the convicts are all at that barn, couldn't the villagers go somewhere and hide, someplace where they couldn't easily be found?
Say, that's a swell idea. And I know a swell hiding place.
You do?
Uh-huh. There used to be a mine here once, but it's been abandoned. Enough kids go into the shack sometimes.
Yes?
You get into it through a hole in Georgie King's backyard. I don't think the convicts will know enough to look real.
That sounds wonderful, Jerry. Hurry now and tell everyone to sneak out while the convicts are at the river and hide in the mine shaft. But be careful.
Okay, miss. Thanks.
Anxiously, Lois Lane watches the running boy, Jerry Farber, until he fades away in the darkness. We'll return in a moment for the exciting climax of today's episode. But first, here's your announcer with a friendly tip.
Say, gang, over the weekend might be a good time for you to take stock of your collection of insignia and warplane buttons from packages of Kellogg's Pep. Now, you ought to check over your collection often, you know, and see how you're coming along with this new second series, and if you have any duplicates to exchange with your friends. Also, see if you can still identify all the squadron insignia. You don't want to forget, for example, that the man in the old-fashioned bathing suit diving with a bomb in his hand stands for the Army 306th Bombardment Squadron, or that the design of a golden bomb on a blue field surrounded by stars and lightning bolts is the lucky insignia of Navy Patrol Squadron 23, or that the clenched red fist with wings belongs to the Army 48th Bombardment Squadron. Why, gang, you want to be able to identify any of these insignia, the whole first series and the 22 new different buttons in the second series. But remember, there's only one way you can get these keen-looking buttons. You don't send in a single penny, not even a box stop. You can't buy them anywhere. You can only get them as prizes in packages of that super delicious whole wheat flake cereal, Kellogg's Pep. So better ask Mom to get you some Pep tomorrow. Then look inside for your prize, one of these dramatic insignia or warplane buttons. Now, the button is in the bottom of the package, in between the Pep carton and the inner wax bag. P-E-P. Pep is made by Kellogg's of Battle Creek.
And now, back to the adventures of Superman. As the people of the besieged village hurry stealthily from their homes under the cover of darkness, Jerry Farber, the 12-year-old boy who brought them Lois's warning, returns to the barn behind his home, where his brother Martin, a disabled war veteran, has just saddled the boy's sturdy black pony.
I've been thinking, Jerry. I can't let you do this. I've got to do it myself.
You can't, Marty. Don't forget you were wounded. You haven't got your strength back yet.
I know, but you're so little, kid.
This is one time I'm glad I am, because the pony can carry me easily and he can swim with me. You'd be too heavy for him on a trip like this. Any man would.
Yes, you're right. All the same, I'm afraid for you, Jerry.
Don't worry, Marty. I can do it. I'm sure I can. I'll race down the hill and jump into the river. It's just like Blackie and I have done lots of times.
But this is different. It's serious. The convicts might see you and shoot you.
They won't see me till I'm practically on top of them. And it's pitch dark, so they won't be able to see very good. We'll swim across the river to Dawson and get help.
Oh, it's not so easy as all that. Even if you don't get shot, chances are the current will carry you over Mammoth Falls. And then what?
No, it won't. You'll see. Look, I gotta go now, Marty. The convicts will have that raft ready right away, and they'll start looking for everyone. Sooner or later, by morning anyhow, they'll find them in the mine shack. I gotta get help here by then. Maybe planes with parachutes or something.
No, I can't let you go, kid. I just can't.
You've gotta. Otherwise, we'll all be killed. Us villagers and that nice lady who's locked in the bank, too.
Oh, maybe not. Maybe something will
Don't
happen.
worry about me, Marty. I'll be all right.
If I could only lift this bad leg.
We'll make it somehow, Blackie and I. Let's go, Blackie. So long, Marty.
So long, Jerry, and be careful.
Okay. Come on, Blackie. Down the hill now.
Bent low over his pony's neck, little Jerry Farber races down the dark hill toward the raging river. But before he reaches the rushing torrent, the convicts who are tearing down a barn on which they plan to set the villagers in Lois Lane adrift on the river hear the thudding hoofs of Jerry's pony approach.
Wait, Pete. Look. Somebody on a horse.
Holy smokes, it's a kid. Maybe riding for help. Let him have it, quick.
Galloping madly through the fusillade of wild shots, the sturdy little black pony carrying Jerry Farber plunges into the current of the flood-swollen river as the convicts continue to hurl a murderous rain of bullets at him and at his young rider. Can the brave boy and his pony possibly conquer the swirling river and bring help to the villagers in Lois Lane? And what of Superman, still unaware of Lois's whereabouts and delayed by his heroic act of mercy at another flood-imperiled city? Don't miss Monday's thrilling episode, fellows and girls. Tune in, same time, same station, and follow The Adventures of Superman.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane.
It's Superman.
Fellows and girls, be sure to follow The Adventures of Superman. Brought to you every day, Monday through Friday. Same time, same station, by the makers of that super delicious cereal, Kellogg's Pep. And for other thrilling adventures of Superman, see your local newspaper. Superman is also a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC publications. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
A transcription.
Dairy Maid, oh so good, it's the candy treat of the neighborhood. For a nickel you really swing on a star. With a Dairy Maid chocolate candy bar.
Made by the Dairy Maid chocolate.
Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal, invites you to rocket into the future with Corbett. Hey, Cadet! Stand by to raise shift. Blast off -5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0!
As roaring rockets blast off to distant planets and far-flung stars, we take you to the age of the conquest of space with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. Far out in space beyond the orbit of Mars, a small rocket scout patrols the blackness of the void, holding a steady course back and forth between the asteroid belt and the red planet. This is a ship on Comet Watch, the loneliest tour of duty in the entire Solar Guard.
Spaceport Control from Sector 7, Comet Watch, come in.
Sector 7 from Spaceport Control, Captain Strong here. Go ahead.
Captain Powers reporting. Time 0600. Nothing to report. This sector, quiet and empty.
Sounds as dull as last year's newspapers.
Sure is, Strong. Hey, what are you doing on Control Watch anyhow?
Just filling in. One of the boys is on sick leave. But I'd much rather be here than pulling your duty.
I'll bet. It's enough to make a guy believe in space gremlins. Oh, well, only 12 more days and I'll be relieved.
Try not to get into any mischief.
Bad chance. Hey, wait a minute.
Huh? What's up?
Just spotted something out there in space.
Well, some action for you at last. What is it, some purple space junk?
No kidding, Strong. It's the strangest thing I've ever seen. Large, ugly shape, riding in parallel orbit with me.
Probably a stray asteroid.
Maybe. But did you ever see one on fire?
What?
Yeah. Looks like thousands of sparks flashing all over it. I'll contact you later, Strong. This I've got to check.
Polaris unit reporting for duty as ordered, Captain Strong.
All right. Stand easy, Cadet. Corbett, what do you know about Comet Watch Patrol?
Well, it's a rocket scout that patrols outside the Mars orbit, watching for stray meteors or comets that might cross the space lane.
And how does it operate, Astro?
Well, the ship has a one-man crew. Everything aboard is automatic, including the signal, which is fed right to astrogation service here at the Academy.
Manning, can you add anything?
All I can say, sir, is that after a 30-day tour of duty like that, you come back talking to yourself.
Captain Strong, I may be out of order for asking this, but did you call us in just to quiz us on the Comet Watch?
No, Corbett. Just wanted to be sure you had the background to this operation.
What operation, sir?
Captain Powers on Comet Watch in Sector 7 has failed to report in the last 24 hours.
Hey, that sounds like trouble. All Comet Watches are supposed to check in every 6 hours.
Exactly.
What about the automatic tracer beam? Is that cut out, too?
No, we're still getting it. The ship is holding its regular patrol orbit.
Well, then nothing could have happened to the ship. That's a cinch.
No, it's Captain Powers. Something's happened to him, and it's our job to find out what. So report to the Polaris immediately and prepare for blast-off in exactly 10 minutes. Won't be long now, Tom. We should sight the scout any minute.
Radar bridge control deck, check in.
That may be it now, sir. Control deck guy, go ahead, Roger.
I've got her, Tom. The rocket scout, right on my scanner.
Feed it down here, Manning, quick.
Aye, sir. There she is. You've got her.
That's the Comet Watch ship, all right.
Well, there doesn't seem to be anything wrong with her, sir. She's not trailing any vapor.
See if you can establish audio contact.
Right, sir. Rocket Cruiser Polaris to Comet Watch. Rocket Cruiser Polaris to Comet Watch. Come in regular. Well, it's no use, sir. There's no answer.
I'm not at all surprised, Tom. Take a look at her. You can see her through the viewport now. Tell me, how does she strike you?
From where I sit, sir, that rocket scout reminds me of a ghost ship drifting in space.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment. So stand by.
Spaceman, have you seen the swell Space Cadet cutouts you can get on packages of Kellogg's Pep? Boy, they're terrific. Let me tell you about them. On every regular-sized package of Kellogg's Pep, you'll find a true-to-life photographic cutout of one of your favorites here at Space Academy. Each cutout is a detailed full-length picture, so you can get a close-up view of both the Space Cadet and an official Space Academy uniform. There's a cutout of Tom Corbett taken on one of his latest adventures. Another cutout shows you Dr. Joan Dale, Space Academy astrophysicist. And besides that, you can get pictures of Space Cadet Roger Manning and Cadet Astro. You want to get all 4 of these exciting picture cutouts, so don't delay. Go to your favorite grocery store and ask for a regular-sized package of Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal. Then, look on the back, and you'll see your Space Cadet picture all ready to cut out. For hanging on the wall, for pasting in scrapbooks, and for trading with your friends, these Kellogg's Pep cutouts are a double-barreled, rocket-blasting space travel knockout. And every time you get a package of Kellogg's Pep, you get another picture cutout right on the back. Keep blasting off down to that grocery store till you've got a complete Space Cadet cutout collection. Remember, you get another picture cutout every time you buy a regular-sized package of the Spaceman cereal, Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep.
Investigating the strange silence of Captain Powers, the Solar Guard officer on Comet Watch Patrol, Captain Strong and the Space Cadets find the small rocket scout drifting in space like a weird ghost ship. Launching a jet boat, Tom and Captain Strong cross over to the scout and board her.
Keep your helmet on, Corbett. Wait till the air pressure in the lock is equal to the pressure in the ship.
Of course, sir. Looks like the mechanical equipment of the ship is in good working order. She's cycling all right. Air pressure equalized. Portal open, sir.
Good. We can take off these fish bowls and go inside.
Everything down here seems to be okay, sir.
Yeah. Let's go to the control deck. Companionway is through here.
Right, sir.
Just a minute. Better let me go first. All right, Tom. Come on. No one here on the control deck.
Looks to me like the ship is deserted. I don't think there's been anyone here in days.
It just doesn't make any sense. You stay here. I'll go topside. Maybe.
Wait a minute. What's that? The hatch. It's opening.
That's the hatch. It leads right into the sleeping quarters. Get ready, Corbett. This may mean trouble.
All set. Nobody's coming out, sir.
All right, you. In there. Come on out. Come out or we'll blast you.
Captain Strong, it's only a kid.
Jupiter. Well, take care of him, Tom. I'd better have a look in here.
All right, sir. Oh, how in blazes did you get here, Sonny?
My father brought me.
Your father? Say, is Captain Powers your father?
Yes, sir. I'm Jody Powers.
Corbett, come in here.
Come on, Jody. You stick with me. Yes, sir. What's it? Oh, great galaxy. Is that Captain Powers?
Yes, and he's unconscious.
My father's been lying there like that for 2 days, sir.
Well, what's wrong with him, Captain Strong?
I haven't the least idea, Tom. He has a raging fever, and he's delirious. Whatever hit him must have been very sudden and just as violent.
He's still in full uniform, even his boots. Looks like he just collapsed.
Sir, is my father going to die?
He's very sick, son. We'll do all we can to help him. But can you be a real spaceman now and help us?
I don't know, sir. I'll try.
Well, tell me, when did your father get sick?
2 days ago. I woke up and found him lying on his bunk. I tried to wake him up, but I couldn't.
Was he all right when you went to bed?
Yes, he was fine. He was watching something through the viewport. He was very excited.
It must have been that sparkling asteroid that he reported, sir.
Did your father always take you along on these trips? It is against regulations, you know.
Oh, no, sir, not always. This is the first time. Dad told my Aunt Julia that he wanted me with him this time. He said it wouldn't be so lonely out here if I came along.
I see. Well, Tom, whatever caused this, one thing is certain. We've got to get Captain Powers to a hospital and get him there quickly. You take Jody over to the Polaris in the jet boat. I'll rocket back to Earth with Captain Powers in this scout.
Alone, sir?
Yes, Tom. And until a ship can be sent out to relieve you, the Polaris will have to stay on Comet Watch.
Hello, fellas. We're having company. Meet Jody Powers.
Hello.
Huh? A kid. Hey, Jupiter. Of all the blasted... Leave it to you, Junior, to fish something like this out of space. Close your exhaust, Roger. Jody's had enough trouble without listening to your space gas. Who is he, Tom? Captain Powers' son.
His father's very sick, so the skipper is blasting back to Earth with him and the scout. Captain Powers needs medical attention fast.
But what do we do now?
Oh, you're going to love this, pal. The Polaris is staying here on Comet Watch until relieved.
What?
And we're taking care of Jody, too.
Well, 3 cheers for the crew of the Polaris. Not only are we stuck with Comet Watch, but the big space heroes have suddenly become babysitters.
Blasted, I wish that relief ship would arrive.
Me, too. You realize how long we've been in this tub, Junior? Seeing nothing but these gray walls inside and black empty space outside.
Well, what do you want us to do? Arrange a pretty landscape out there for you?
And that kid, Jody.
What about him?
He's getting in my hair. Why does he always have to tag after me?
He's just lonesome, and he happens to like you. Why? I'll never know.
Well, do us both a favor and keep him out of my hair. He's getting to be a pet.
Hey, there goes your space junk warning. Better get a fix and report to Spaceport Control.
Yeah, one of these days I'm going to let a meteor plow right into Commander Arkwright's window. And listen, remember what I said. Keep that kid off the radar bridge.
I don't know. When they gave Manning a heart, they must have carved it out of the Martian ice cap.
Hello, Tom.
Oh, hello, Jody. What have you been doing?
Just looking around on the power deck.
Hey, how about something to eat?
No, thanks. I'm not very hungry, Astro. Where's Roger?
Up on the radar bridge.
May I go up there and visit him?
I think you better stay down here with us for a while.
I'd rather go up there. I'm sure Roger will be glad to see me.
Oh, sure. He'll be so happy he'll blow his jet.
I'll see you later, fellas.
What are you going to do? We make a fuss over him and he brushes us off. Roger pushes him around and the kid worships him.
Meteor sighted on orbit, cutting Space Cave 3. That is all. End transmission.
Hello, Roger.
You here again? I thought I told you to stop following me.
I know. But if I just sit here real quiet, can't I watch you work the radar scanners?
That's not fake, kid.
You know, I'll bet you're the best astrogator in the whole academy.
Well, look, I wouldn't say that. Captain Strong's pretty good, too. I pulled this crew out of plenty tight squeezes.
They're lucky to have you on their crew, Roger. You're a real spaceman.
Yeah. Hey, what am I gassing with you for? I got work to do. Come on, I'm taking you down to the control deck, and this time you stay there.
Go blow your jet.
And don't let me catch you. Huh?
Stab your tubes, Manning.
Why, you little... Hey, you've got spirit. You know, you're not such a bad kid at that. I think I'm beginning to like you.
You are?
Yeah, I guess you and me can do business together. But not right now. It's way past your sack time.
Oh, Roger.
You heard me, Junior, and a good space cadet always obeys orders.
A space cadet? Me?
Well, Space Cadet JG. Now, come on, let's blast. I'll take you below.
Say, isn't that your space junk warning?
Yeah, it's probably just another pebble. Forget it.
What, shouldn't you report it?
I can do that later. Now, cut the stalling. You're going to sack in this minute. Come on.
Great galaxy, Tom. Did you ever see anything like that in your life? No, it looks like the whole asteroid is shooting off sparks. Hey, turn that alarm off, will you, Astro?
Oh, sure thing. You think we better check Roger, make sure he's reporting it back to Spaceport Control?
No, whatever you say about that joker, at least he's always on the ball.
I wouldn't bet my life on it.
Hey, Astro, I just remembered something.
Huh?
What? Captain Strong told us that in the last audio contact he had with Captain Powers, Powers reported seeing a strange asteroid. An asteroid that shot off sparks.
Hey, that's right. You think there's a connection?
Well, I can't be sure. But this better be reported to the skipper, too.
Okay, I'll tell Roger to start... You tell me to what? Roger, what in blazes were you doing below? Putting Jody to bed. And no wisecracks, Astro. That kid's okay.
Then you haven't reported that meteor.
What meteor? Look out there, bubblehead. See it?
It's drifting away from us now.
Yeah, what's so important about that? Are you space happy? That's the same meteor Captain Powers saw when he made his last report. The one that looks like it's on fire. Oh, so what? There's plenty of time to report it.
How? You didn't even get a fix on her. Now you can't project her orbit. It's too late.
Stop using your tubes. It isn't that important. 9 out of 10 of the meteors we report don't go anywhere near the space lane. This won't be any exception. By the rings of Saturn, sometimes I could take you
Yeah,
you could take me and what?
Hey, hold it, you two. We're getting a call on the teleceiver. Rocket Cruiser Polaris, Cadet Tom Corbett here. Go ahead.
Corbett, this is Captain Strong.
Oh, yes, sir. How's Captain Powers? Did you get him back in time?
He was still alive when I landed, but that's about all. The medicals are doing their best for him now. You'd better not tell Jody anything until we're sure one way or the other.
Of course, sir.
Tom, don't forget to tell him about that meteor.
Now listen, Corbett. The main reason I called you is about that meteor.
Yes, sir. I was just going to...
If you see it, I want you to stay clear of it.
What?
We're not sure, but we think it caused Captain Powers strange illness and the deaths of 3 other Solar Guard officers in the past 15 years. So you're to return to Space Academy immediately.
What about our release, sir?
Common Watch Patrol in Sector 7 is to be temporarily abandoned. We're not taking any chances. You understand your orders?
Yes, sir, but...
That's all. In transmission.
Fellas, did you hear that?
Yeah, every word. And our pal Roger here let that blasted meteor go by without charting its orbit. Heaven help any ship that gets near it.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment. So stand by.
Listen to the powerful blast-off of a giant rocket cruiser flashing up, up, up into the heavens. There's power for you. The roaring drive of the rockets bursting through Earth's gravity off into space. The men who ride those rockets have to be in top-flight physical condition or else. Now, that's why all space cadets call for Kellogg's Pep. Here's Cadet Astro to tell you in his own words how Kellogg's Pep helps to keep the space cadets ready for action.
Cadet Astro here. Kellogg's Pep does help the space cadets keep ready for action. And Pep can help you spacemen the same way. Now, all spacemen need vitamins and energy food values to keep up steam for a busy day. And when you eat Kellogg's Pep every morning, you're getting a head start with a swell supply of sunshine vitamin D and vitamin B1. Now, Pep also gives you the rugged nourishment of whole wheat with the wheat germ left in. As a matter of fact, Kellogg's Pep gives you more of these build-up food values than any other wheat flakes. Say, it's no wonder the space cadets bank on Kellogg's Pep for a quick morning blast-off. Now, you just tackle a bowl full of Kellogg's Pep tomorrow morning, like I do. Then you'll be starting your day the spaceman's way.
Hear that, spaceman? Eat the same kind of breakfast Astro and all the cadets do. And when you get your package of Kellogg's Pep, look for your exciting Space Cadet cutout. Remember, there's another picture of one of your favorite space cadets on the back of every package of Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep.
Learning that Roger's neglect of duty has endangered the space lanes of the Solar Alliance, the crew of the Polaris rockets after the strange and deadly sparkling asteroid to warn all space traffic away. Now, after hours of tension, the boys slowly begin to relax, feeling their job has been done.
Control deck to radar bridge. Check in.
Radar bridge, aye.
Picking up any other ships on your scanners, Roger?
No, none for the last hour.
How about the Meteor?
Still have it. Hold present speed and distance. I'm keeping us far away from it.
You've plotted the orbit and reported it to Spaceport Control, haven't you?
Yeah, no. I guess they've warned all space traffic by now.
No, and I guess we can head back to the Academy. But the skipper will sure chew us out for being late.
What are you going to tell him?
Oh, think of something, I guess. Let's worry about that when we land.
Thanks, Tom.
Forget it. Give me a new heading now.
Right. Hey, what's going on down there?
What do you mean?
We're closing in on that meteor fast.
Oh, that's impossible. We haven't changed speed or course.
It's a cinch the meteor hasn't. Better check Astro, quick. Remember what the skipper said about getting too close to that thing?
Stand by. Control deck to power deck. Check in, Astro.
Yeah, Tom. Right here.
Well, what's going on, Astro? Roger reports we're closing in on the meteor. You giving me more power?
Yeah, but I can't help it. The master speed control is jammed.
How did that happen?
Well, that cute little passenger of ours, Jody, he was fooling around down here. Loosened one of the brackets and the control lever slipped out of gear.
Well, can't you fix it?
I'm working on it right now, but it'll take me at least 10 minutes.
Roger, you hear that?
That's too long, Astro. We'll be on top of the meteor in 3 at this rate.
Well, cut your rockets, Astro, all of them.
That won't do any good. Our momentum will carry us along at the same speed.
And we can't turn fast enough with just steering vanes.
Better make up your mind fast, Tom. Those sparks are getting big.
Well, there's only one chance. Astro, set steering vanes hard over to port.
Hard over
Now, stand by forward braking rocket.
Ready? What's going to last to, Tom? We can't turn fast enough.
I think we can if we fire starboard torpedoes. Stand by main battery, Roger.
Okay, all set.
Blast nose rockets, Astro.
Here goes!
All right, Roger, get set.
Give me the word, pal, but fast.
Main battery, salvo, fire! Now, fellas, just spray as hard as you can. Go back to radar, Bridge. Give me a report, Roger.
We're clear, Tom. The Meteor's almost off my scanner.
Wow. Don't want to do that again.
You feel sick or anything?
No? How about you?
Just fine. I guess we cleared it okay. Be right down.
Okay.
All right, Jody, you just get up here and tell Tom what you did.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. Honest, I didn't.
Whether you meant it or not, you almost got us into a barrel of trouble. It was Jody, all right, Tom.
Well, what have you got to say for yourself, Jody?
I'm sorry. I was down there and making believe I was a space cadet, and oh, golly, I won't ever do it again.
Well, if you're trying to be a space cadet, you ought to be disciplined the way cadets are.
The discipline?
Yes, Jody, demerits, mess patrol, scrub detail, the work.
I got a better idea. The flat of my hand on the seat of his britches.
Over my dead body, Junior.
Well, that can be arranged, too, Roger.
Don't let him spank me, Roger, don't.
He won't lay a finger on you, kid. Well, what's come over you, Roger? Nothing. He's only a kid. He didn't know any better. And he said he was sorry. What more do you want?
Oh, I give up. But from now on, keep him off my power deck.
Don't worry, I will. That hole you're working isn't any good for his health. He might grow up to be like you. Oh, great. Here we go again.
Hey, teleceiver call.
Uh-oh. I bet it's Captain Strong wondering where we are. Rocket Cruiser Polaris, Cadet Corbett here.
This is Captain Strong. What's holding you up, Corbett? You're overdue.
Sorry, sir. We had some mechanical trouble. We're on our way now.
All right, but make it fast. Captain Powers is recovering, and he told us a lot more about that meteor. It must be destroyed as soon as possible. As soon as you land, the Polaris will be outfitted for a new operation. The destruction of the sparkling meteor.
Don't miss the next action-packed adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, on Thursday, when the crew of the Polaris rockets toward a deadly trap in Part 2 of The Mystery of the Sparkling Meteor. Tune in, same time, same station on Thursday for the next thrilling interplanetary adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet.
Brought to you by Kellogg's Pep, the Build-Up Wheat Cereal.
Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, starring Frankie Thomas, can also be seen on television and appears in the comic sections of many of America's leading newspapers. Look for it daily and in weekend editions. Featured in today's cast are Jan Merlin, Al Markham, Edward Bryce, and Sarah Fussell. Today's program was written by Jack Weinstock and Willie Gilbert, directed by Drex Hines. Jackson Beck speaking.
Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret. Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret.
And what a secret! In Kellogg's Raisin Bran, the tasty raisins are dipped in honeycomb. That means plumper, more tender raisins, along with delicious Golden Crisp bran flakes. Both fruit and cereal all in one box. And no other raisin brand but Kellogg's gives you the tender goodness of raisins dipped in honeycomb. That's Kellogg's secret. So for your breakfast, make sure you get Kellogg's, because
Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret.
this program came to you from
You were trapped in the dark cellar of your home. Beside you is the murdered body of your wife. And above at the front door are your friends looking for you, tracking you down, cutting off your escape.
Escape, produced and directed by William N. Robeson, and carefully contrived to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
Tonight we escape to a university town in England and a household where hate holds sway as we listen to John Collier's famous story, Back for Christmas.
Yes, my dear.
What on earth are you doing down here in the cellar?
Why, just a little digging.
And why, may I ask, have you chosen this day of all days to dig up the cellar floor?
Why, I thought as the weather has been so damp, this would be an excellent time to plant my devil's garden.
Devil's garden? Whatever nonsense is that?
Oh, that's my little joke about it. You see, I've managed to secure some of the spores of several unclassified wild orchids. In their natural state, they bloom under damp masses of leaf mold. The Araucanian Indians call them devil flowers because they appear to bloom under the ground.
Well, I'm sure the Araucanian Indians will be very interested if you succeed in growing these ridiculous flowers under the cellar floor. Whom else it'll interest, I can't imagine. What's that terrible smell?
Why, that's the leaf mold, my dear. Chemically identical with the earth blanket they grow under in the wild state. I really should line the pit with concrete so as to prevent seepage from this foreign soil. But I don't suppose there'll be time for it now.
There certainly will not be time for it. Do you realize that we're sailing for America a week from today, and you've made no arrangements whatever? Unless you call digging a hole in the cellar making arrangements. I certainly don't. Devil's garden, indeed. Sometimes I think you're going soft in the head, Herbert.
Well, I suppose it's inconsiderate of me. But, you see, I've been wanting to try this experiment for a long time. But what with my lectures and seminars at the university, there never seemed to be time.
Well, there certainly isn't any time for it now. I suppose you've forgotten I made an appointment for you at the barber's this afternoon?
Oh, must I shave off my beard, Hermione?
Now, we've been all through that. Of course you must. They don't wear beards in America. Go and get your jacket on and do as I tell you.
Yes, Hermione.
And don't forget to take your umbrella. It looks like rain.
Yes, Hermione.
Oh, don't look so put upon, Herbert. Someone has to plan things in this house, or you'll never even get to the university in time for your lectures, much less make arrangements for a trip to America.
I know, but what of my specimens?
There'll be plenty of time to plant your precious devil's garden when you get home from America. We're not going to be gone forever, you know. We'll be back here for Christmas.
Yes, of course. Back for Christmas. I'd forgotten.
Well, try to remember it. And if you can't do that, just do as I tell you. I've been making the plans in this house for 20 years. And if there's any digging to be done, I'll manage that as well. You understand, Herbert?
Yes, Hermione.
Good. You have just 20 minutes to clean this mess up down here and keep your appointment at the barber's. And when you finish there, I want you to come straight home.
Well, I wanted to stop at Miss Markham's and pick up some books I ordered.
Well, all right. But don't loiter there the whole afternoon, browsing over those old books the way you usually do. Now hurry and clear up this rubbish. Get rid of that smelly stuff. And no more digging, mind you.
Yes, Hermione. Yes, Hermione. How many years have I been saying that? 10 years? 15? 20? Clear up the rubbish. Yes, Hermione. Don't forget your umbrella. Yes, Hermione. Do this, do that. Yes, Hermione. Yes, yes, yes. How much longer can I stand this?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Miss Markham.
Why, it's Professor Carpenter, isn't it?
You didn't recognize me.
Oh, you look ever so much younger without the beard. 20 years at least.
20 years.
Oh,
You'll be glad to know those books you ordered have finally arrived.
Books?
Phytotany of phalloid gametophytes and coniferous shrubs of North America. Those are the ones you ordered, aren't they?
Oh, yes. Thank you. You're very kind, Miss Markham.
Why kind, Professor Carpenter?
Well, not many young ladies in bookshops would go out of their way to look up rare books for an old professor of botany.
Oh, why, you're not old, Professor Carpenter. Really, you look... Oh, and besides, I adore botany. It's my particular hobby.
Oh, really? Well, you never told me that before, Miss Markham.
Oh, I was afraid to. You were so imposing with a beard and all.
Well, You might be interested in some specimens of alpine polyanthes that were sent to me by a friend in Switzerland.
Switzerland? I used to go there for my holidays before the war.
You like Switzerland?
Oh, I love every part of it. The lakes, the mountains, the beautiful spring flowers. Oh, especially the flowers.
Oh, yes. It seems we have quite a lot in common, Miss Markham. I'm sorry we haven't talked before.
Oh, I am too. It is all the fault of the beard, I suppose.
Miss Markham, forgive me if this sounds foolish, but I feel that shaving off my beard is the most important thing I've done for 20 years.
Oh, it is. I'm sure it is. I'm ashamed that I've been so distant with you all the time. Oh, there were times when I almost spoke up. Times when you came in here, tired after a day with your students at the university. Oh, you seemed so alone. The way I'm alone in the world. I'd like to have asked you to stay a while and talk with me. But some way or other, I wound up giving you your change and letting you go on your way.
You say you're all alone in the world?
Since my father died.
Well, did you never think of marrying?
Oh, my father was a very remarkable man. I never found anyone who seemed to measure up to what he led me to expect of men. And then the war came.
Miss Markham,
It's been so long since anyone called me by my first name. I'd like you to, if you don't mind. It's Marion.
Marion.
And yours?
Herbert.
How long have you been alone, Herbert?
Alone?
Oh, I knew you were a widower, of course, the first time I saw you.
A widower?
Oh, I can always tell. There's a certain sadness in a man's eyes. A sweet sadness, I think, when he's been married and then...
A widower? I never thought of it in quite that way.
Oh, perhaps I shouldn't be talking like this. But I've often wondered what she must have been like. Your wife, I mean.
Hermione? Not an easy woman to forget. Very strong. Always managing things. The house, my wardrobe, my friends. When we dined at a restaurant, she even ordered my food. She was always managing things. You might say she managed herself to death.
Oh, poor woman. She must have loved you very much. But she needn't have put herself out so. It's plain to see you don't need things managed for you. You need companionship, I think. Someone sympathetic with your work. But the last thing on earth you need is a manager.
How well you put it. The last thing on earth. That's the first time I thought of it, of course. But suddenly a whole new world opened up before my eyes. Marion and America and no more of Hermione's planning my life for me. By the time I got home, my mind was working overtime.
Well, at last. You certainly took long enough about it. What are you looking so pleased about?
I don't really know. Getting rid of the beard, perhaps. I feel 20 years younger.
You look even smaller. Your face looks triangular or something. I'd forgotten your chin was so weak. Oh, but never mind that. You can grow it back soon enough after Christmas. Where are you going?
Down to the cellar. I just bought this electric lantern, and I thought I'd put it away down there.
Now, whatever possessed you to buy a thing like that?
I don't know. I rather like this lantern. Might come in handy. Who knows?
Now, Herbert, don't start digging down there again. I've 100 things to do, putting the house in order before we leave. I want you to carry these boxes upstairs for me.
Yes, Hermione.
And if you're going down to the cellar, take this along and stuff it into the furnace.
But this is my old bathrobe. I may need it.
Oh, nonsense. I bought you a new one. Get rid of it. And don't start puttering down there with that devil's garden or whatever you call it.
I'm through digging, my dear. I think the pit is quite deep enough now for my devil's garden. It would all have to be carefully planned, of course. Just as carefully planned as Hermione was planning the trip to America. We both went about our respective engagements as the days passed. I spent all the time I could with Marion, and finally she consented. And then it was the last day, the big day, the day we were to sail for America.
Operator, are you there? I'm still waiting on that call to Salisbury. Oh, well, put them on quickly. Hello? Is this Paul Holt & Sons? Mrs. Herbert Carpenter here. Did you receive my letter? Oh, good. Now remember, we'll be back for Christmas, and I want the job done without fail. What's that? Oh, no, I'm sure he doesn't suspect anything. Send the bill to me in New York as I instructed you. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, there you are, Herbert. Where have you been?
Backstairs. I dismissed the servants.
Dismissed the servants? But I've asked some friends in to a farewell tea. Go and tell them it's a mistake.
I'm afraid it's too late now. They've packed and gone.
Oh, you have messed up things properly. How many times have I told you to leave things to me? I make the plans around here.
Yes, Hermione.
You'll have to do better than this when I plan the trip home, or we'll never in the world be back for Christmas.
Back for Christmas. Must you keep saying that?
Well, why not? We are coming back for Christmas, aren't we?
Supposing I were offered a professorship in one of those wealthy American universities.
Nonsense. Americans care nothing for botany.
Luther Burbank was an American.
Well, that's different. What have you ever done except muck around in the dirt with a lot of roots and tubers?
They've asked me to lecture. That means something.
Of course they asked you to lecture. Americans are paid to hear any foreigner deliver a lecture once. Now, there's no use getting yourself in a state about this, Herbert. No doubt this extra money will come in very handy when we arrive back for Christmas. Precisely. And it's no good you're making a joke of it. Heaven knows where you'd be today if I hadn't got a sense of time.
Yes, my dear Hermione.
And since you've been so foolish as to dismiss the servants, you may empty the ashtrays and straighten up this room while we're waiting for the guests to arrive. I'm going upstairs to change. Call me when they get here.
Yes, Hermione. Yes, Hermione. Yes, Hermione. For 20 years, Hermione, always so right. Thought of everything. Well, not quite everything. She's dressing now. Safe to call Marion. Oh, if Marion were to change her mind now. If she had any idea I was not a widower. Hello? Hello? Marion? Herbert? No, my darling. Nothing's wrong. My plans are the same. Unless you've changed. Good. We'll meet in New York as we planned. Yes, I do love you, my darling. I'm sorry I can't talk any longer. Yes, I'll meet you in New York a week from tomorrow without fail. Goodbye till then.
Herbert, were you talking on the phone just now?
Yes, Hermione.
Whoever was it?
Well, Freddie Sinclair, of course.
Oh, didn't I hear you say something about meeting somebody in New York?
Why, yes. Old Freddie said he might possibly get out to America before we leave, and I said, of course, we'd meet him there if he decides to go.
That seems very peculiar. But then all of your friends are peculiar.
Yes, Hermione.
And just look at your jacket. Have you been digging in that cellar again?
Yes, Hermione.
Well, there's no need for it. You can't possibly get that Devil's Garden thing finished. Go and change your clothes before the guests arrive.
Yes, Hermione.
Oh, never mind. I see somebody coming up the walk now. Go and let them in.
Yes, Hermione.
Robert.
Yes, my dear.
Look out the window. There's Professor and Mrs. Hewitt. But who's that with them?
Why,
Precisely. Freddie Sinclair. Peculiar. You should have been talking to him on the phone not 3 minutes ago. And now here he is.
Yes, isn't it? But then, as you say, Hermione, all of my friends are peculiar.
Not half so peculiar as you. Digging in the cellar an hour before we leave for America. Just look at yourself. And now that I think of it...
Yes, Hermione?
Oh, never mind. Go and let them in.
You were going to ask me something, Hermione. About the hole I'm digging in the cellar.
Oh, good heavens. Stop rolling your eyes about that way. One would think you were digging a grave down there instead of a storage bin.
Yes, Hermione.
What's that?
I said yes, Hermione.
Oh, bother. Open the door and stop saying yes, Hermione.
I think, my dear, I've said it for the last time. Back for Christmas. Hermione was so positive we would be back for Christmas. That last afternoon, pouring tea for a few friends who had come in to say last-minute farewells, she kept reiterating...
Oh, I promise you, Mrs. Hewitt. Remember, we absolutely must have you with us for Christmas. Oh, we'll be back.
It's not absolutely certain, of course.
Herbert, what do you mean it's not certain? Of course it's certain.
After all, Herbert, old boy, you've contracted to lecture for only 3 months. Quite right, but then, of course, anything may happen.
Oh, Herbert adores being unpredictable. Now, what other man would dig a great hole in a cellar on the very day he was leaving for America? A hole in the cellar? Yes. He's going to put some unclassified wild orchids down there. A devil's garden, if you please. Sounds mysterious. That's Herbert, though he's really quite simple once you find out what he's up to. Now, take that telephone call he put through to you a few moments before you arrived, Freddie.
To me?
Yes. Herbert wanted to surprise me about your plan to meet us in New York next month. That's why he called, of course, to ask you not to mention it.
But, my dear Hermione, Herbert couldn't possibly have telephoned me within the past hour. I've been walking in the park since 3.
He didn't telephone you?
Well, how could he? And as for my going to America... Oh, now, come, Freddie. You may as well own up. Hermione has found me out again. But, Herbert, old chap, I really don't understand.
There. You see what a poor liar Herbert makes. He's red as a beetroot. Aren't you ashamed of yourself, Professor? Stringing poor Hermione along like that. And as for you, Freddie, I'm furious you said nothing to us about going to America.
But look here, old girl, I've been trying to tell everyone that I have no...
stuff and nonsense. The game's gone on long enough. Perhaps Herbert's merely planning a surprise for me.
Yes, let's leave it at that, my dear.
Well, we must start getting ready. It was marvelous of you to come in to say goodbye. And don't worry about Herbert's little jokes. Oh, I will bring him back for Christmas. You may rely on it.
They all believed her. For years, she'd been promising me for dinner parties, garden parties, committees. And the promises had always been kept. This time, they wouldn't be. I'd seen to that. The servants were gone for good. The farewells all said. I had timed to the minute how long it would take to fill in the hole in the cellar, in my devil's garden. Upstairs in the bedroom, I undressed, folded my clothes over a chair, and put on my old bathrobe. Then I opened the door into Hermione's room.
Are you ready, Herbert?
Hermione, have you a moment to spare?
Of course, my dear. I've just finished.
Then do come in here for a moment. There's something rather extraordinary here.
Good heavens, Herbert, what are you lounging about in that filthy old bathrobe for? I told you to put it into the furnace.
I shall do it today, yes. I really will, I promise.
Well, high time. Now, what is it you want to show me?
In the bathroom here. Just look. Who in the world do you suppose dropped a gold chain down the bathtub drain?
Nobody has, of course. Nobody wears such a thing in this house.
Then what's it doing there?
I don't see anything.
Here. I'll hold this flashlight for you. If you lean right over, you can see it shining deep down.
Oh, such a lot of nonsense. Just visit. I don't see it, Herbert.
Go on looking, Hermione. In just a moment.
Herbert, I absolutely refuse to wait. Herbert, what are you doing? Take your hands off my neck.
I will, Hermione, just as soon as I've finished the arrangements for my trip to America.
What are you talking about?
You thought you were the only one who could plan things, didn't you, Hermione? Well, I've been making some plans of my own this past week. In exactly 2 minutes, you'll be dead, Hermione. You see, 2 minutes. I've planned it very accurately.
You'll never get away with it. Let me go.
I thought you'd say that, but I will get away with it. You won't mind the smell of the leaf mold down in the cellar when I take you there today. Yes, that's where you're going, Hermione. Into my devil's garden that annoyed you so much.
Oh.
The soil is full of clay. It won't settle too much. In a month or so, it won't even look as if it had been dug up.
My friends, they all expect me back for Christmas. If they don't hear from me, they'll wonder. If I don't come back, they'll start asking questions.
Oh, no, they won't. Because you'll write them letters, Hermione, on the typewriter, as you always do. They'll be signed H in that neat, cryptic way you always sign your notes to your friends.
Let me up.
No.
It won't work, Herbert. You never were any good at planning things.
Oh, but I've changed, my dear. I've learned from watching you all these years.
The lecture people in America, they'll expect you to be traveling with your wife.
I will be traveling with my wife, but her name will not be Hermione. Fortunately, they've never met you. I write a few letters home for you, then fewer and fewer. Write letters signed with my own name, always expecting to get back, but never quite able to. Keep the house 1 year, and then another and another. They'll get used to it. Might even come back alone in a year or two and clear it up properly. Say you died in America. Nobody will ever suspect you're lying under the floor of the cellar in this very house.
Oh, but it won't work, I tell you. That pit you dug in the cellar,
I can assure you, my dear Hermione, it will serve its purpose well. Sorry, my dear. I've got to get this done on schedule. You have just 5 seconds to say your prayers.
Oh, but you must listen. The cellar. Don't do it, Herbert. Herbert. Oh.
Hey. The water cut off at the main as I knew she would order it. She was so thorough, but so was I. Strangulation. Nothing to wash up. The electric current shut off exactly at 1 o'clock, just as she ordered it. She thought of everything. So did I. My nice new electric lantern. Plenty of light to work by in the cellar. The old bathrobe she wanted me to throw away came in handy now if there should be any chance blood stain. Then into the fire with it afterwards, the last evidence of my devil's garden. It was going well. Still an hour till I had to leave with the boat. The hold was almost filled. No. Oh, no, not now. Go away, please. Whoever you are, go away. Did I lock the front door? If it's the Wallingfords... Oh, no. Go away. Go away.
I say, Herbert, old thing.
Woo-hoo, Hermione.
Just keep calm, quiet. They won't look down in the cellar. Keep calm. They'll go away.
Where the dickens can they be?
Oh, the car's there.
Maybe they popped round to Liddell's.
Oh, it must be.
Oh, the shops, maybe. Something to last minute.
Oh, not Hermione.
Shall I shout?
Oh, don't. Might not live next door.
No harm in a shout, my love.
No, let's come in our way back. Hermione said they wouldn't be suspect.
Oh, all right. Only I want a last drink with old Herbert. He'd be hurt, you know.
All right, let's hurry. We can be back by 6:30.
6:30. There's still time. After that, it was easy. Put the finishing touches on the Devil's Garden, dress fast, get out of the house before 6:30, take the boat trade to Southampton and board the ship for America. All according to plan. Hermione's plan. I say, Stuart.
Right, sir?
My wife is indisposed. She'll be taking her meals in our stateroom.
Oh, for the old voyage?
Yes, for the whole voyage.
Well, I trust your wife is feeling better this morning, Professor Carpenter.
Yes, a little. Not yet well enough to leave her cabin.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, by the way, here's a copy of the radiogram you sent for your wife last evening.
Oh? Oh, thank you. I'll just check it over. I say, look here.
What is it? Did the typist make a mistake?
No. No, nothing important. She can correct it later. For a moment, I had the feeling that Hermione had been leaning over my shoulder again, correcting what I'd written, as she always did. I had written a radiogram to Professor Hewitt and his wife. Haven't been out of my cabin the whole beastly trip. Herbert well. We now doubt we will be back for Christmas. The copy read, we no doubt will be back for Christmas. Exactly what Hermione would have written. The rest of the voyage was uneventful, and Marion and I met in New York and were married just as we'd planned. Just as we'd planned. Professor and Mrs. Carpenter, we have reservations, I believe.
Oh, yes. We've been expecting you, sir. Boy, take Professor and Mrs. Carpenter's luggage up to their suite. You know, Mrs. Carpenter, you're quite a surprise. Your letter reserving the rooms was so thorough. I was expecting an older, more forbidding sort of person, frankly, ma'am.
Oh, no. As a matter of fact, we're just married. But my letter reserving the room.
I wrote the letter, my dear, and signed it Mrs. Herbert Carpenter. Purely a joke.
Oh, what a cunning old fox you are, Herbert.
Now that I think of it, I am, rather.
Oh, I almost forgot. There's a letter for you, Mrs. Carpenter.
A letter for me? I wonder who on earth...
Well, we shall find out in good time. Come along, my dear. We're keeping the boy waiting. Nothing like a cold, brisk shower to put a man to rights.
Herbert, this letter...
Oh, yes, the letter. Dry my hair, will you, dear?
It seems to be a bill of some sort. From a building contract in Salisbury. Oh, bother. Dry your own hair.
Oh, thank you, my sweet. Let's see this bill or whatever it is.
It's very puzzling. Herbert. You were a widower, weren't you? I mean, Hermione isn't still alive.
I can assure you she is not. Let's have that letter. Dear Madam, this is to acknowledge your order, together with the keys to your house in Launceston Place. Our men had no difficulty in finding the place where your husband had begun the excavation in the cellar, but apparently changed his mind at the last moment and filled it in again. Oh, no.
What is it, Herbert?
Our men will begin digging tomorrow, and you may rest assured that it will be a professional job and will be completed in ample time for your surprise Christmas present to your husband. We are happy to be conspirators with you in this thoughtful gesture and hope that Professor Carpenter will be pleased at the results of our work on what he so quaintly calls his Devil's Garden. Very truly yours, Paul Holt & Sons Contractors.
What does it mean, Herbert?
It means that Hermione was right. I will be back for Christmas.
Escape is produced and directed by William N. Robeson, and tonight brought you Back for Christmas by John Collier. Adapted for radio by Robert Tallman, with Paul Frees as Herbert, Eleanor Audley as Hermione, and Marta Metrovich as Marion. Music is conceived and conducted by Cy Fuhrer. Next week...
You were lost in the London fog, exhausted and frantic, unsure if the figures looming around you are real or creatures of your fear. And behind you, pursuing you, intent on killing you, lurks a murderer from whom you must escape.
Next week, we escape with Elgin Blackwood's ghostly story, Confession. Good night, then, until this same time next week, when again we offer you Escape. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Instant Ralston and regular Ralston, the hot whole wheat cereals in the red and white checkerboard packages, present Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Visions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol! In today's transcribed adventure, Buzz and Happy are in a scientist's laboratory on the planet Venus, bound hand and foot by Prince Baccarati. As they struggle to free themselves, a vacuum pump steadily draws air from a chamber containing a powerful chemical.
Keep struggling, Happy. Got to cut off that pump before the chemical explodes. The cord is digging into my wrist. How much time have we got? It'll blow up when the indicator reaches 1/100th of an atmosphere pressure. 100? Smoking rockets is almost that right now, and the ropes are so tight I can hardly move.
We'll return in just a moment with today's exciting Space Patrol adventure, Cyclone in Outer Space. Time is running out, Space Patrollers. Yes, time is running out in the sensational Name the Planet contest. The contest that's giving away a gigantic rocket clubhouse and 1,750 other swell prizes. So hurry. Get Mom or Dad to go with you to your Weatherbird shoe store for your free space coin album. Now, inside the album are 3 silver-colored space coins and your Name the Planet contest entry blank. The blank for entering your name for Planet X. And that name can win you the Great Rocket Clubhouse with a huge motor truck to pull it and $1,500 cash. Think of it, a 10,000-pound, 35-foot-long spaceship on wheels with built-in bunks, lights, lockers, and even cooking equipment. Think of rolling along in your own rocket clubhouse, or think of rolling along on a Schwinn Varsity bicycle. 750 Schwinn Varsity bicycles will be given away as second prizes. Schwinn, the streamlined lightweight bike, America's favorite. It's got 3-speed gear shift, it's got 2-wheel handbrakes, and all the other famous Schwinn features. And you have 750 chances to win a Schwinn. And you know something else? You've got 1,000 chances to win a powerful autosonic rifle, an outer space helmet, a Space Patrol emergency kit, or a swell stainless steel Space Patrol wristwatch. So take off right away for your Weatherbird shoe store and get your free space coin album and contest entry blank and enter the Name the Planet contest right away today. Remember, the place to go is your Weatherbird shoe store. And now, today's Space Patrol adventure, Cyclone in Outer Space. In all the universe, there is no place more full of tension and fear than in the castle of Prince Baccarati on Planet X. With his plans for conquest of the solar system thwarted at every turn by Commander Corey of the Space Patrol, His Highness has been taking out his rage and frustration on his men. And most uneasy of all is Baccarati's chief henchman, Dr. Malengro, whom the Prince holds responsible for the repeated failure of his schemes for aggression. For a week now, Malengro has feigned illness rather than endure the constant abuse heaped upon him by the evil Prince. But today, he has asked for an audience with His Highness in the tower room of a huge castle.
Well, Dr. Malengro. So you still live here at the castle, do you? I was beginning to think you had gone to Mercury to teach folk dancing or some other art worthy of your great ability.
Humble apologies, Your Highness. I've been ill.
So I have been told.
In spite of my illness, I have not been idle. In fact, I have some very interesting information.
I'll be the judge of that. Just give me the facts.
Your Highness, I have discovered the perfect weapon. A weapon that will not only make it impossible for the Space Patrol to reach Planet X, but also will enable you to strike any planet of the solar system at any time, any place.
Just what is this weapon?
It is called a torque ray.
Torque ray? What's that?
It is a ray that literally twists matter apart, molecule by molecule, atom by atom. The gun that fires it hurls a ring of turbulent force through space at the speed of light. Spaceships can be destroyed the instant they're sighted. One blast of the torque ray could tear a hole in an atmosphere shell. A barrage could level the largest city in the universe in a few seconds. And this force is like a tornado or a cyclone moving with the velocity of light.
Splendid. How soon can you get these torque ray machines into production?
That is difficult to say, sir.
I want 24 of them immediately. Pull my top engineers off of all the other jobs if necessary and get into production.
But, Your Highness, I don't know how to build a torque ray machine. I know nothing of the principle involved.
Then what have you been blathering about for the last 5 minutes?
I'm trying to explain, Your Highness. You see, this device was invented years ago by a scientist named Cyrus Kennebec. I read about it in a 45-year-old issue of the United Planets Science Bulletin.
What? Well, the Space Patrol must have the torque ray.
No, Excellency. The weapon was outlawed shortly after it was secretly demonstrated on Saturn's moon number 2. Because government officials decided that such a powerful weapon was not needed to preserve the peace and might tempt lawless persons to try to get the secret.
Do you mean to tell me that there is no torch ray in existence?
The authorities asked Kennebec to destroy his working model.
Where is this Kennebec now? Is he still alive?
I have already checked on that matter, Excellency. He is in retirement on Venus.
Get him. We'll force him to build some torch ray gun.
May I suggest caution, Your Highness? Sometimes it is difficult to force men of integrity to betray their governments.
Then we'll trick Kennebec. I'll do it myself. I'll make him think he's working for the government.
But, sire, he may have heard of you.
You don't think I'm stupid enough to go to him as Prince Baccarati, do you? Get me all the information you can, Malengo. I'm blasting off for Venus.
Meantime, in his central office on the man-made planet Terra, Commander Corey carefully examines an instrument from the control panel of a space cargo ship. Standing beside the commander are Cadet Happy and Major Robertson, the chief security officer.
This is the worst piece of workmanship I've seen in years. How did it ever pass inspection, Robbie?
Well, same old story, Commander. Built well enough to pass the test, and after a few weeks, the elements begin to deteriorate.
Well, I'd hate to depend on that cosmic ray detector in any ship I was flying.
Right now, hundreds of passenger ships and freighters are out in space with instruments just as bad, or even worse. Have you been able to trace the manufacturer of this piece of junk, Robbie?
Yes, sir. It's a bootleg outfit on Saturn. They're not only guilty of selling inferior equipment, but they're infringing on patent rights.
Oh, stealing from inventors, huh?
There's a clear case of infringement on this cosmic ray detector, sir. Cyrus Kennebec holds the patent.
Kennebec?
You know him, Commander?
Yes. Kennebec has given away dozens of inventions just to make space travel safe. He could be a rich man today if he'd patented all of his inventions. This is one case I'm going to take up personally. I'm going to see Kennebec and persuade him to bring suit.
In a small but well-equipped laboratory on the planet Venus, Cyrus Kennebec intently goes about his experiments, apparently oblivious to the presence of a large, important-looking man who has introduced himself as Pasco Zarini, head of an interplanetary contracting concern.
Mr. Kennebec, it's very difficult to talk with that vacuum pump going. Could we step into the next room for a moment?
Just a moment. I'll cut it off.
That's better.
Let's complete this experiment later. Mr. Zarini, I discovered a fascinating chemical compound. That's right here in this container.
Yes. Now about this
matter. Under ordinary atmospheric pressure, you can heat it, freeze it, throw it around, and it's perfectly harmless. But in partial vacuum, it becomes a powerful explosion. The critical point is 1/100th of an atmosphere.
You mean you got some of that stuff in that vacuum chamber?
Oh, yes, a microscopic quantity. Not enough to be dangerous. Let's sit down on that desk, Mr. Zarini. Here's my cane.
It's hanging on the test tube rack.
Yes, of course. I hurt my ankle the other day. Confounded juices. Now, Mr. Zarini?
How about your torch ray gun?
That whole thing, it was outlawed years ago.
Yes, I know. But as I told you, the United Planets government has given me a contract to build a new spaceport on Neptune. We've got to level several square miles of land. With atomic earth-moving equipment, it would be very expensive. Your torch ray could do it quickly and cheaply. It would save the government hundreds of thousands of space credits.
But the torch ray is outlawed.
Yes. But I can straighten that out. I've already talked to several officials high up in the United Planets government. In fact, I have here an authorization from the Assistant Secretary General. If you'll just look at that, Mr. Kennebec.
Well, in that case, that's different.
How long will it take you to draw up the plans and specifications for the pilot model?
Since you're working for the government and the machine isn't outlawed anymore, I guess I can tell you. I never did destroy the plans or the demonstration model.
Oh, you mean there's a torch ray gun already in existence?
Yes. Of course, it's been disassembled. Nobody but me could put it together.
How long will it take you to assemble it?
About 6 hours if I were.
Could I pick it out tomorrow?
Don't see why not.
That's splendid. Naturally, I wouldn't think of turning such a powerful machine over to an experienced man. I'd like to pay you for your services as operator of the torch ray.
if you can get away from your lab. It's been years since I've been on Neptune, Mr. Zarina. I'll be glad to go.
The next day, a very tired old inventor sits in his laboratory listening to Commander Corey and Cadet Happy.
Now, take a look at that, Mr. Kennebec.
Yeah.
Recognize that, sir?
It's my circuit, all right, but the workmanship, the materials. It's a crime, a downright crime.
Exactly. Will you cooperate with us in closing down these crooked manufacturers?
I don't mind their using my design, if only they did a good job. This thing could result in serious injury, even loss of life. Certainly I'll help you, Commander.
I knew I could count on you.
You'll have to wait a week or so, however. I'm helping construct that new spaceport on Meteor.
Your spaceport?
Yes, the new government project.
What government project?
Excuse me, Commander. That's probably the contractor now. There's that confounded cane. Oh.
What does he mean, sir? A new government spaceport. He's probably got his planets mixed. New construction going on. Mercury City port, but nothing on Neptune.
Come right in, Mr. Zarina. Everything's all right. Splendid, Mr. Kennebec.
Commander, the
Now,
voice, it
Masters,
sounds just...
See this brain machine of yours.
Baccarati.
Don't move. Either of you. Kennebec makes a good shield. What's going on here?
Let go of him, Baccarati.
I said don't move, Corey. Oh. Let go of me. All right, Kennebec. Do as I say, or I'll use this paralyzer ray on you. That's right. You might as well know it now. I'm taking you and your torque ray to Kennebec.
No, you can't do that.
Oh, can't I? First, I'm going to make sure that Corey doesn't follow us. Kennebec, get that big container of your new chemical and put it in the vacuum chamber. Go on, get moving before Corey and the cadet revive.
What are you going to do?
Just do what I tell you, or you'll get what they're going to get. I'm going to tie them up, just in case that ray charge wears off. By the time this lab blows up, I'll be on my way to Kennebec.
Baccarati, listen to me. You can't do this.
Open the chamber. Put the chemical in. Hurry, Kennebec, or do I have to get rough?
No.
Now, close the chamber tight.
Do you realize what you're doing?
Of course. I'll turn on the pump. Low speed. When that indicator shows 100 of an atmosphere, the lab will blow up.
We'll return to Space Patrol in just a moment. They're coming to Earth. Coins from outer space. Terrific space coins, big as $50, with pictures of planets on them in glowing space colors. Gang, space coins are so good looking, you'll want to collect them and trade them with all your pals. And space coins are free. Yes, sir, you get one in every new package of good hot Ralston. And you can get 3 more special silver-colored space coins and a swell album when you see your Weatherbird shoe dealer to enter the Name the Planet contest. So start building up your collection of those super space coins now and be the first in your gang to have a whole album full. Just get Mom or Dad to go with you to your Weatherbird shoe dealer. Tell the Weatherbird man you want your free coin album and 3 special space coins. If he's run out of albums, ask him to get you one. And remember, inside that album, you'll also find your Name the Planet contest entry blank. And inside of every new package of good hot Ralston, you'll find another free space coin. That's the new hot Ralston package with a picture of Commander Corey or Cadet Happy on the front. But hurry, no time to waste. Get hot Ralston and see your Weatherbird shoe dealer today. And now, back to our Space Patrol adventure, Cyclone in Outer Space. Prince Baccarati has rendered Commander Corey and Cadet Happy helpless with a paralyzer ray, and as a further precaution, has securely bound their hands and feet. Forcing the inventor, Cyrus Kennebec, to help him, Baccarati has loaded a powerful torque ray gun in a spaceship and has blasted off for Planet X. Right now, Buzz and Happy are lying on the floor of Kennebec's laboratory on the planet Venus as a vacuum pump gradually lowers the pressure in the chamber containing an explosive chemical.
The paralyzer ray is wearing off, sir, but I'm getting tied up tight.
Keep struggling, Happy. You've got to get loose before that chemical explodes.
I wonder how much time we've got. Baccarati's been gone half an hour. The rate that indicator's moving, we've got just about 2 minutes before the lab blows up. 2 minutes? Oh, I can slide back up against that metal table leg. You have to cut the cords against the edge. Happy. The cord around your feet. It's working loose. Yeah, but my hands I'm worried about. Never mind them. Stand up. Get on your feet quickly. Yes, sir. I can. Roll over on your stomach and draw your knees up. It'll be easier that way. That's it. Hop over to the lab table. Where Kennebeck's cane is. See it? Yes, sir. Now don't try to walk. Hop. All right, now turn around and grab the cane. Careful, don't drop it. I've got it, sir. Okay, now flip the cane around so the curved end is up, right behind your head. It doesn't slip out of my fingers. If it does, it's the last slip you'll ever make. It's getting it, Hap. Work it up a little higher. Fine. Wow, look at that indicator. Nearly the 100th of an atmosphere. Now hop over to the switch in the wall. And hook the cane around the switch handle. Right. Now turn around. Feel around with the cane. I'll try to guide you. You've almost got it. Now stand on tiptoe. That's it. You've hooked the handle. Now hold the cane tight and shuffle forward a few inches. Good boy. A few more strokes of that pump. Well, Baccarati sure did us a favor by not letting Kennebeck take his cane.
We're not in the clear yet. Until we open that valve and let air into the vacuum chamber. Too close to the critical point.
I wonder what kind of chemical is in there.
We'll worry about that later. See anything to cut these cords with?
Yes, sir. There's a knife in the lab bin.
Get it, huh?
Yes, sir. I've got the knife, sir.
All right, huh? You stand back to back and you cut the cords in my wrist. And we'll blast off after Baccarati.
With all rockets blasting, Baccarati heads for Planet X, carefully avoiding the regular space lanes between the planetary orbits. Cyrus Kennebeck slumps miserably in his seat, staring vacantly ahead.
Cheer up, Kennebeck. In a few hours, we'll be on Planet X, the future capital of the universe.
I'll never forget myself, never.
What are you talking about?
I helped to destroy one of my best friends, and that young man.
I would have taken care of them sooner or later anyway, with your torch ray.
Why didn't I wreck that machine when I was ordered 2 years ago?
It wouldn't have made any difference, Kennebeck. I'd have made you build another one.
You couldn't have forced me to do that.
Other men have said that to me. Men younger and stronger and braver than you. And I've seen them on their knees before me, begging for mercy.
Far behind Prince Baccarati's ship, Commander Torrey and Cadet Happy head the Terrified toward Planet X. One by one, the orbits of the inner planets are crossed. Then even the vaster stretches between the outer planets. Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune. Finally, even Pluto lies behind them.
Nothing in the viewscope yet, sir, except Planet X.
I don't expect to overtake Baccarati until we get very close to Planet X. No way of telling what vector he took, but we'll see him when he comes into land.
Suppose he's already landed, sir?
I don't think he has. He wouldn't dare take the short vector we did. He didn't have that much of a head start.
Commander, I think you're right. Look at the viewscope. The spaceship, 10 degrees high.
Private cruiser. Headed right for Planet X.
Probably Baccarati, all right.
Overtake him right now. Kennebeck comes aboard. We'll keep on his tail till we see where he's going to land.
Pretty near there, Kennebeck. In a few hours, you'll be at work, making more torch rays.
I told you, Baccarati. You can't force me to help you.
These folks. Let me at the control panel.
You're being followed, Baccarati.
Space patrol ship, of course. It's terrifying.
It's Commander Corey. He's escaped from the lab.
You double-crossed me. You fixed the vacuum pump so it would cut off before the explosion.
I wish I could.
Shut up!
You might as well surrender, Baccarati. He's gaining on us. He can board us without trouble. You'd better surrender.
Never. Got your torch ray in the cargo hatch. Get back and plug in the power line.
He's going to fire the torch ray at him.
Why not? And don't try to stop me around. Wait a minute. The torch gun is inside the ship. It would wreck us, too. I got it. Land at the first opportunity. I'll lug the torch gun outside the ship, plug in the power line, and then blast Corey before he can land.
No, you can't do that.
Get your hand off of me. Try that again, and you'll be really tough. I got it. I'll set us down in the black valve. The mist will give us some protection and a chance to set out the torch gun before Corey finds us.
He isn't going to the castle after all. He's going to land.
Maybe he has trouble with his ship. He seems to be heading for that big peak rising up above the mist.
The one with the crater on it.
Probably an extinct volcano.
Uh-oh. He's disappeared.
Put on the infrared viewscope, being happy. He dived into the mist.
He's plain and smart. If he knows that valley, he might be hard to find.
Just keep looking.
Skillfully, Prince Baccarati maneuvers his ship to put the mountain peak between him and Buzz Corey's ship. Then he plunges into the mist-covered valley. A moment later, he lands the ship on the valley floor. At gunpoint, the elderly inventor is forced to help Baccarati remove the torque gun from the cargo hold and set it up on a sturdy tripod just outside the spaceship. Seconds later, Baccarati has connected a power line from the gun to the ship's electric power supply. And as the Terra 5 circles overhead, Baccarati stands ready, peering up into the swirling mist.
Just stand over there and don't move, Kennebec. I must congratulate you on this torch gun. Beautifully balanced. A child could operate it.
Baccarati, listen to me. Don't fire that gun.
Shut up! Cut it up. We'll be coming in for landing very soon. Then a slight pressure on the firing button, and I'll be rid of Commander Corey for good. There he is, coming right toward us. All right, Corey. This is it. You're right in the... No, you don't! Stop it! Get it back! You idiot! You knocked the gun over!
You missed Corey. You missed him. He's coming in for the landing.
What's the noise?
You blasted the top off the crater.
The volcano. It's erupting. All right, Kennebec. This is what you get for meddling.
The volcano's erupting. The whole top of the peak blew off. Wow, look at that lava pour down.
We'll have to settle our business with Baccarati in a hurry. Stand by to land.
Standing by, sir. Commander, Baccarati's blasting off.
We're landing anyway. Look down there. Left Kennebec behind.
Why, that dirty space rat.
We're going to have to move fast. Have cut rocket. Full repeller ray.
Quick now, open the inner hatch. Wow, feel that heat.
Down the ladder, quick.
Hey, where's Kennebec? The smoke is so thick.
Over there. He's collapsed.
Yeah, I see him now. Commander, the hot lava, it's tearing up the trees and pushing rocks along.
You can admire the scenery later. Give me a hand with Kennebec.
Yes, sir.
Quick now, head back to the ship and watch your step. If we go down, we won't get up again.
You're going to be all right, Mr. Kennebec.
Sure, son. Just relax. That gun will never be used again.
No, it's back there on Planet X, buried under 100 feet of lava.
But Baccarati, what about Baccarati?
He got away. Did you have your torque gun designed?
Yes, but they won't do him any good. They're mostly in coke.
That's a break.
Gentlemen, I hope you'll forgive an old man for being a coward back at the lab. You risked your lives to save me and...
Mr. Kennebec, I got a good look at that torque gun just before the lava covered it. It wasn't a coward that knocked that thing over.
I'll say not. As far as I'm concerned, we're even.
An action preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure in just a moment.
This is Commander Corey calling all Space Patrollers.
Commander Corey to all Space Patrollers. I have two important messages for you. One, start right away today to build your collection of exciting space coins. Take it from me, space coins are really sharp-looking, big as a $50, made of husky plastic. Blue coins, black coins, gold ones, too, all with swell pictures of planets on them. You get a space coin free in every new package of good hot Ralston, either instant or regular. Message number 2. Hurry and ask Mother or Dad to go with you to your Weatherbird shoe store, because waiting for you free at your Weatherbird shoe store are special silver-colored space coins to add to your collection, plus a handsome space coin album to keep them in, plus your Name the Planet contest entry blank. But you'll have to act fast. Get a new package of hot Ralston, either instant or regular, with a free space coin inside. And go to your Weatherbird shoe dealer for more coins and your Name the Planet contest entry blank. At your Weatherbird shoe dealer. See him today, and good luck.
And now, a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure. Buzz and Happy are flying over Crater Valley on Planet X when they sight Prince Baccarati's ship on the ground. Quickly landing, they see the prince struggling with a giant native and rush to the rescue.
It's Baccarati, all right, sir. He's beating an old man. Trying to drag him into the ship. Let's get him. All right, Baccarati, break it up. I'll get his ray gun, sir.
Let go, Vicari.
Hey, Commander, the old man's unconscious. Baccarati knocked him out.
Getting pretty brave, aren't you, Baccarati? Beating up an old man all by yourself.
Not quite by myself.
Get them, Malengo. Use your terrorizer ray. You got them both, Malengo. This is the last time Corey will meddle in the affairs of Planet X.
Be sure to join us again next week for the thrilling story Under the Sea of Planet X, when Instant Ralston and Regular Ralston again present Space Patrol! Space Patrol, created by Mike Moser, starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corey and Len Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston, produced and directed by Larry Robertson, executive producer Mike Devery. Other players were Bela Kovach, Norman Jolly, and Ken Mayer. Dick Tufeld speaking. Now, don't forget to tune in next Saturday and every Saturday when Instant Ralston and Regular Ralston again present Space Patrol!
This is Dick Tufeld in Los Angeles with the story of one of the fastest planes in the world, and a word from the man who test flies it, Joe Lynch. It's North American's Air Force F-86B Sabre Jet Interceptor. Speed, well over 700 miles per hour. Wingspan is 37 feet. Length, 41. Cruising range, 500 miles. Now, by special tape recording made at international airports, a well-known test pilot of the Sabre, Joe Lynch.
The D is a one-man interceptor, so when you fly it, you're really on your own. That's why I see to it that I'm in good condition all the time. And one way to stay in good condition is by eating a good breakfast cereal, like Rice Chex or Wheat Chex. They're just packed full of energy, and they taste swell. I think you'll like them, too.
No other cereal, puff or flakes, contains so much nourishment in such concentrated bite-sized form. So take a tip from Joe Lynch, George Welch, and other top test pilots. Make your cereals Rice Chex and Wheat Chex. Be sure to see another exciting Space Patrol story on your local ABC television station. Consult your local paper for time and channel. This program is broadcast to our armed forces overseas through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. Space Patrol came to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is ABC Radio Network.